Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Rias uses strongest piece on Naruto part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. False Co-Academy. The sounds of battle were heard everywhere. This is a rating game between both nobles of Devil's High Society. On one side is Rias Gremory, the younger sister of one of the Maus, Sirs Lucifer. Her peerage right now consists of a queen, a knight, a rook, a bishop and a pawn that is using all 8 pieces. Rias is a gorgeous girl with large bust and buxom figure. She has blue-green slightly mischievous eyes. Her exceptional feature is her long, crimson hair that reaches down to her thighs and a single strand sticking out from the top. Her hair also has loose bangs framing her forehead and side bangs that frame her face perfectly. She is one of the 2 great ladies of Co-Academy, the one Isama to all the girls in the academy, and was idolized by everyone in academy. Rias's queen, Akino Himejima. She is the 2nd great lady in Ko. Akino has a buxom figure similar or greater than Rias. She has violet eyes and a very long black hair that usually tied in a long ponytail, reaching all the way down to her legs with 2 strands sticking out from the top and sloping backwards, with an orange ribbon keeping it in place. Right now she is wearing a Miko, Shrine Maiden, attire to use her magic. Only the members of Rias's peerage know that Akino is actually a sadist, but it seems that she even feels proud about that. Rias's knight Yuto Kiba. Kiba is a handsome young man with short blonde hair, gray eyes and a mole under his left eye. He wears the Co-Academy boys' school uniform, which consists of a black blazer with white accents over a white, long-sleeved dress shirt with a black ribbon on the collar, matching black pants, and brown dress shoes. Yuto is a very polite young man which attracts much attention from girls in the academy. Kaneko Tuja is Rias Gremory's rook. But her birth name is Chiron. Because of her complicated past she didn't want to use her real name. She is not a human, but a nekashu, a rare kind of Nikomata, that are near extinct. Kaneko is a petite girl with short white hair and golden eyes. She also wears a black cat-shaped hair clip on both sides of her hair. She usually wears the Co-Academy girls' school uniform, without the shoulder cape. She rarely shows any emotions and usually deadpans with Rias's pervert pawn due to his pervert antics. Asia Argento, one of Rias's bishops and the newest addition to her peerage. Asia is a girl around 15 to 16 years of age with long blonde hair and green eyes. Her hair flows all the way down to her back, with split bangs over her forehead and a single strand sticking out from the top, sloping backwards. Her main attire consists of a dark teal nun outfit with light blue accents, a white veil over her head with light blue accents, a brown satchel slung on her right hip, where she holds her Bible, and brown boots with black straps in an X-shaped pattern. She also wears a silver cross necklace around her neck. Before she was reincarnated, she was a nun that worked under fallen angels. After the accident that cost her life, she was reincarnated as a devil by Rias Gremory. Last but not least, Rias's pervert pawn, Issei Hayate, which considers being the strongest pawn for 2 reasons. 1. He absorbed all the 8 pawn pieces. 2. He is the host of one of 2 heavenly dragons, Drake. His sacred gear is a Longinus called Boost gear, which was said to have the power to kill even gods. Issei an average-looking human but is extremely obsessed with. He has spiky brown hair, and the back of it is sticking in 2 directions pointing downward. His reason for joining the peerage is because he wants to be a harem king and strives to become an ultimate class devil to achieve his dream. Of course, he couldn't reject the offer from the most beautiful girl in Ko. As the battle went on between Riser Phoenix all-female peerage and Rias's, the latter was at a huge disadvantage because she doesn't have all her pieces right now, but Riser has all of. Why did this battle start? Because Rias refused to marry Riser. Their marriage was an arranged marriage created by her parents. She didn't have a say in it at all. That's why in order to free herself from that horrible marriage, Rias must win this rating game at all cost. Right now all her peerage was defeated except herself and her pawn, Issei Hayate. Riser still has his queen left. Issei is at his limit and is panting heavily. Just surrender, Rias. I admit your peerage gave an impressive fight, but that's it. It's impossible to win against me in your situation. Be a good fiancé and submit to me, Riser said and leers down at her with hungry eyes. Rias glared back full force at Riser and shouted, "Like heck I will. I told you before, Riser. I refuse to marry such a shallow guy as you." Riser sighed and said in a fake solemn voice, "Shame. Maybe I should destroy that precious Sekirui of yours right in front of your eyes to make a point." Riser looked down at Issei and created a sphere of hot flames. Rias' eyes widened at his claim. "No," whispered Rias in horror. "Issei. Run away! Hurry!" Unfortunately, Issei was too tired to even move, so he could only watch on absolute horror when the sphere of flame was launched at him. Riser was smirking evilly and satisfyingly. Finally, he will be rid of that filthy dragon. But a voice, at Issei's location, interrupts his triumphant moment. And the flames, slowly losing the heat, but still manage to produce some steam. Ojo-sama, I feel a little disappointed in your peerage. I would have thought that you will be able to win against this fried chicken easily. It's a relief that I've returned in time. The wind slowly cleared the steam caused by the flame, and revealed a figure standing there with calm eyes. It was a teen with spiky golden hair with black highlights. The strangest thing is his eyes have an atom-like structure and a pinwheel inside it. The figure is wearing a high-collared dark blue t-shirt with a yin-yang symbol on the back. He also wears a black choker that has a stone with kanji for dark aka yami. He has a bored look on his face, and seems very relaxed in such a tense situation. Rias noticed the figure and sighed in relief. Finally, her strongest member is here. Yes, the strongest, you heard it right. Even stronger than Rias herself. He was not called Invincible Knight in Underworld for no reason. You are late, Naruto, complained Rias despite the current situation she is in. She stomped to Naruto in a flash and pointed a finger at him. How dare you show yourself in front of me, your king, after you got here late? I should punish you for such mistake. Naruto rolled his eyes at Rias' antics. Why the heck she always changes her personality 180 when he is near, he never knows. For some reason his Ojo-sama enjoyed being bossy around him. Hi. Are you done yet? Naruto waves his hand down, dismissing Rias. That action just caused Rias to become even more annoyed at her annoying knight. So what is he was considered the strongest knight in history? That won't matter to her at all. Because she is his Ojo-sama and will order him as much as she wants. How dare you dismiss my words like they are nothing important? Demanded Rias furiously and pointing her index finger at Naruto. Naruto's sweat dropped at his Ojo-sama's phrase and replied back. I was late because I've some business to take care of. Besides, before I left, you said yourself that you will be fine without me. And now you are blaming me for being late? That's just not fair, Ojo-sama. Rias felt even more irritated when he was right. She just huffed and turned her head aside. Even so. You should know better to agree with my words so easily. I sometimes can make wrong decision too, you know. Naruto deadpanned and sweat dropped. Now she said he must reconsider her words. He rubbed his forehead and began to think. Why the heck is he serving this girl again? Oh, because of the incident with 4 Maos a long time ago. He sighed and stated. Okay, Ojo-sama. This lowly servant was at fault, and is asking Her Highness to forgive him for his foolish action. Hearing that caused Rias to beam brightly. Then she pointed at Riser and ordered childishly. Riser will marry me if I lose this raiding game. Now my ultimate knight. Go! And bring me the victory! Naruto just nodded his head tiredly, and began to approach Riser and his queen. The whole time when Rias and Naruto were arguing with each other, Issei had observed them curiously. Bucho and that blonde seemed to be very close. Besides, he never saw Bucho act like this before. She acted like a spoiled little girl that demands to get anything she wants. He found that side of Bucho really cute. Then he heard Bucho order the blonde to fight against Riser and Yubeluna. He was about to protest, but Bucho approached him with the usual expression that he saw every day and said, Don't worry, Issei. Naruto is here, so the fight is already over. Why do you have that much confidence in his abilities, Bucho? Issei asked her curiously. Why, you ask? Rias turned to Issei with a smirk. Then she turned her head back to look at Naruto. Maybe you should just see it for yourself. Naruto versus Riser and Yubeluna. Naruto stood in front of both Riser and Yubeluna with the same bored look. On the contrary, Riser was scared shitless. Nobody has ever told him that Rias has one of the strongest pieces in the underworld, the Invincible Knight. However, Yubeluna was the opposite. She is blushing like crazy while looking at Naruto's cool and careless face. Even though she knew that to lust after anyone other than her master is wrong, still she couldn't help it. By the order of my Ojo-sama, I must reluctantly defeat both of you. I am sorry, nothing personal really, Naruto said plainly and scratched the back of his head. Ha! Never thought that the Invincible Knight was Rias's lapdog. You didn't seem so tough though, Riser taunted Naruto, trying to rile him up. Though he failed horribly as Naruto's face remained expressionless. You are really horrible at playing psychologic games, Nawadari-kun, Chicken-kun. If you are bad at it, then don't reveal it so that you don't feel embarrassed in front of your foe. Naruto deadpanned while waving his finger lecturing Riser, which pissed the latter off greatly. Enough talking. I will end you and then make Rias my wife, shouted Riser furiously and materialize his hands to burning wings of a phoenix. Naruto simply looked up at Riser with a calm look. Then he turned to Yubelina and claimed, Oju-chan, I recommend you to back away from here as soon as possible. If you won't listen to my words, I will tear your clothes to pieces and have my way with you right here. Naruto said those phrases with an expressionless face which made the effect on Yubelina more devastating. What? How dare you say something so dirty with a straight face like that? You lewd monkey! Sputtered Yubelina with enormous blush, and even have blood dripping from her nose from such erotic fantasy. Why are you worked up like that so easily? That was just a joke. Simply a joke, said Naruto with a mischievous smirk. Then he waved a finger to shame her. Tisk. Who knew that Oju-chan has such a dirty mind? Your master is not enough, now you want to lay your hands on me as well? Yubelina blushed like never before. She screamed in embarrassment, and fury then charged at Naruto with a flaming bomb. At the same time, Riser created a huge fireball and threw it at Naruto. Naruto looked at the attacks with his EMS calmly. When they nearly hit him, he raised his hands up and said one word to dismiss both of attacks. Amaterasu. Naruto's right eye began to bleed, and from the void a pitch-black flame appears and consumed both of Riser's and Yubelina's attacks. Both were shocked that their techniques were defeated so easily. How that was a word whispered by those two in utter shock. Do you have any other trick? Naruto asked and turned the flames of Amaterasu off with his other eye. But I recommend you just surrender. Why the heck are you so obsessed with my Oju-sama anyway? You've a peerage consist of sexy girls and still want more. That's just too greedy, Nawadari-kun. My Oju-sama has made it clear that she doesn't want to marry you. So just accept that fact, Naruto told him with a bored face and even sitting down in a lotus position and crossed his arms. I am not done yet, golden jerk! Shouted Riser furiously and flew up high to create a huge burning sphere that resembled a sun. Ha! Now I will end you with this technique. Inferno catastrophe. And so he threw the technique at the waiting figure of Naruto. The heat produced by the technique was so much that it caused Naruto to sweat. Not a bad technique, Nawadari-kun. But Naruto wiped his sweat off his forehead. And his figure was enveloped by a purple figure that was building up from skeleton to armor. The figure has 3 hands. One holding a sakagari, the other holding a transparent shield. That last hand is holding a sphere made of Amaterasu flame. Susanoo. Susanoo then opened his sakagari and produced some kind of wavering sword. Such a good flame. I even feel it will be a waste to seal it away in Totsuka no Tsurugi. But it will be fine. Naruto nodded his head in fake sadness and pointed Totsuka no Tsurugi at the fake sun and absorbed it all inside. Riser was gobsmacked that his most powerful technique was sealed away so easily. Even Yubelina was shocked as hell. It's the first time she saw her master's technique fail to defeat a foe. Naruto deactivated Susanoo and looked up at Riser with a tick in his forehead. Okay, I feel really annoyed now. I will count to 3 if you won't surrender. I will just kick your ass. 3, 2, 1. Just as Naruto was about to call 1, Riser shouted in fright. I surrender! Naruto nodded his head satisfied and began to approach Yubelina. He saw she was full of bruises and opened his palm to chant. Recuperare. The glowing green light enveloped Yubelina and began to heal her at ridiculous rate. In no time, she was as good as new. She looked at her hands in wonder, then looked up at Naruto. Why? I told you before, it's nothing personal. I simply act by Oju-sama's command, that is all. And you, Oju-chan, also acted on your master's commands, Naruto explained to her, simply unknowingly made Yubelina develop a bigger crush on him. Naruto turned back and began to leave. Well, I will go back to my Oju-sama now. Take care, Oju-chan. My name is Yubelina, by the way. Yubelina screamed out at him. Naruto just raised his hand up to acknowledge her words. Even though she still has some phoenix tears left, she was grateful that he has healed her with his magic. With Rias and Issei. Since the start of the battle, Issei dropped his jaw not once but thrice. First, because of what Naruto told Yubelina with a straight face. Then when he heard that was a joke, he started to grip his fist in frustration. The comical tears ran down his eyes. And of course, Rias felt extremely annoyed at Naruto's so-called harmless jokes. Not once in her short life she has ever made that annoying blonde blushed. Not even when she embraced him with her birthday suit. He just comments that she was really sexy and will be a dream of lots of guys. There was even unspoken rule in Underworld. Whoever will make Naruto blush can claim him. No matter if it's a married female devil or not. That rule actually was created by Seraphol Leviathan. So far, no one ever managed to make him blush, but on the contrary, he always will say something ridiculously shameless, and then dismiss that by saying it was a joke. He would not even laugh about that, just have that annoying smirk all the time. Issei was also shocked about Naruto's ability. He has neutralized both of Riser and his queen's attacks with a pitch-black flame. Then Riser launched an attack that resembled a mini-sun, but that Naruto guy materialized a purple figure out of nowhere and enveloped himself with it. The purple figure then used the Sakagari on one of its hand and completely absorbs Riser's technique. During the entire fight, that Naruto guy not even dirties his clothes. And that's just scary. Bucho and the others have struggled so much with Riser's peerage. And yet this dude just displayed a part of his power to make them surrender. Now he understood the reason why he is Rias's strongest piece. During that time, Drake inside of Issei's right hand felt an enormous power sealed in the stone on Naruto's choker. Aibu, partner. This guy is incredibly strong. And he even has a very powerful sacred gear that is sealed inside that stone. Nani? Such a powerful guy, and yet he still has a sacred gear? Issei muttered in shock, gazing at the approaching figure of Naruto. Just what kind of monster is this Naruto? Naruto is standing right in front of Rias right now. He then put his palm to his chest and bowed down respectfully. Oju-sama, mission complete. Rias nodded her head satisfyingly with a victorious smirk. Then, as usual, her personality started to turn 180 when Naruto is around. Good job, my knight. Rias nodded satisfyingly, but changed her expression to deadpan and point at him. But your punishment still won't go anywhere, understand? Naruto's sweat dropped and wondered. Why am I being punished again, Oju-sama? Didn't you say it yourself, that it was your fault, not mine? Rias blushed in embarrassment and pointed her finger shakily at him. Shut up. I am your king, therefore I decide to punish you or not. Even Issei felt that is unfair to Naruto, but he knew better to open his mouth when his bucho is like this. Naruto sighed and nodded his head tiredly. Hi. So what is my punishment, Oju-sama? Rias smirked victoriously and pointed at Naruto and claimed. For now I order you to carry me on your back. I feel terribly tired from this fight. This will be your first punishment. Issei heard that and widens his eyes in shock. He felt extremely jealous of Naruto that moment. Bucho, I also want for you to punish me. The comical tears ran down his eyes. Naruto yawned and muttered, why me though? I can see it clearly that dude over there wants to do it more than me. I said, come here and carry me, ordered Rias loudly. Then she looked to Naruto's eyes and saw that he still has his EMS activated. And turned off your creepy eyes. Naruto gained a tick mark at her remark and retort. Oi, don't call my eyes creepy. Don't forget these eyes saved you plenty of times, baka. Nani? How dare you call your Oju-sama baka? It's decided your punishment will be doubled. No, tripled. Issei looked at the pair with a sweat dropped. Somehow they looked like an old arguing married couple to me. Naruto sat down and waited for Rias to climb to his back. She embraced his neck a bit tight, then placed her mouth near his ear and whispered. Welcome back, Naruto. Naruto closed his eyes, smiling a bit, then he stood up and also whispered. I am back, Oju-sama. Was Surzex and Grafia 5 minutes before Naruto's arrival? Surzex looked at the screen to observe the rating game between his sister and Riser Phoenix. So far he saw she handled the situation really well, despite not have the whole set of her peerage. But the situation turned worse when Riser's queen took out not only Kaneko, but Akino as well. On Ria's side, only she, her knight Kiba, newly reincarnated bishop, Asia, and a pawn with the power of Security Issei. Issei has unlocked the new power of his boost gear and transferred the power to Kiba. The former used sword birth and successfully rid the rest of Riser peerage. But even so, Kiba still not strong enough to defeat Riser's queen and was defeated in the end. Asia was with Rias the whole time, so she was okay. Issei on the other hand was exhausted because he has yet to master the new power of his sacred gear. Rias decided to head to the enemy's side to confront Riser. Riser managed to trick Rias and took out Asia of the game. Asia was defeated by Yubelina, the later using her specialty to cause explosion by her magic. Yar. It seems my Ria-tan is having a rough time. Even if this is her first rating game, I can't believe that she is gonna lose, whined Surzer's Lucifer and twirling a glass of wine in his hand. It seems Rias-sama will lose this game, Surzex-sama. If that happened, will you really marry her to Riser-sama as agreed? Wondered Grafia, his maid, queen and wife, with expressionless look. Surzex then looked at the screen and noticed one more presence on the battlefield. Looking at the newly arrived figure caused Surzex to grin. Nope. My Ryutan is not out of the game yet. What do you mean, Surzex-sama? Wondered Graphia in confusion. Surely, you don't think that Ojo-sama can win this game with just herself and that pawn. Despite he has the power of Sekiryutai, he has yet to master it. Surzex shook his head and grin never left his face. Have you forget Graphia? Rias has the strongest knight in the history. The one that I personally gave her. Graphia's eyes widened slightly at his response. No way. The invincible knight? Ya nodded Surzex and added. The one that didn't have any fear in him. One that void of love, lust, shame, embarrassment, hesitation, jealousy. Practically all emotions that will made him ever hesitated in a battle. And titles mean nothing to him. That's why the devils of high society despised him. They always said to put him in a proper place. But all they can is throwing words at him. Because they don't have power to do what they intend to do. I don't understand, Surzex-sama. Graphia shook her head slightly. If he is that powerful, why did you give him to Rias-sama? I understand that she is your dear little sister. But he could have strengthened your peerage even more. Besides, if he is that powerful, why is he not ultimate class yet? Why I gave him to Rias? The reason is simple. I want him to move on from his past. A past that was so horrible that I don't ever wish on anyone else to experience something like that again. Why he is not ultimate class devil? That is the story for another time, Graphia. Surzex then looked at the screen to see how Naruto is making fun of Riser's queen and then dismissed it as a joke. Seeing that caused Surzex to burst out laughing hard. Ha! To say such things and dismissed as a joke in a mere second. That Naruto-kun is really hilarious and unique. But Graphia has a tick mark appeared when she saw her husband burst out laughing. That Naruto sure knows how to irritate people. Then she saw Naruto materialize the purple figure that surrounds his body. Curious about his abilities, Graphia turned to her husband to find out. What is that astral figure that was summoned by Naruto-sama, Surzex-sama? Oh, that? Replied Surzex and squinted his eyebrows and thought. That is one of Naruto's abilities with his eyes. It's called Susanoo, if I am not mistaken. It actually has many other abilities that Naruto-kun still yet demonstrates. Besides, even I don't know all powers that his eyes possessed. Really? Those eyes have other abilities as well? Graphia wondered surprisingly. Yeah. His eyes also have other modes as well, Surzex added while still observing how Naruto used Susanoo to consume Riser's strongest attack. So much power in a mere boy, Graphia whispered silently to herself. But Surzex still heard her and replied solemnly. You don't know how much he has lost when obtained this power, Graphia-chan. Graphia turned her gaze to her husband questionably. Surzex just looked silently to the screen to see the end of the game. With Sona. But Surzex and Graphia weren't the only ones watching the game. Sona Citri, the heiress to Citri family, along with her queen Tsubaki Shinra were observing the battle as well. After all, this is her best friend first-rating game. After witnessing the battle, Sona turned off the screen and muttered to herself. Who would ever think that Rias is the master of Invincible Knight? Sure, everyone in Underworld knew that he is a knight, but the information to whom he belonged was never revealed. Kaicho, is that knight of Rias-san really that powerful? Tsubaki wondered while adjusting her glasses. Yeah. I could tell clearly even though he was not serious at all in this battle. He still manages to defeat Riser and his queen easily. What we saw is about 1/5% of his power, replied Sona with his eyes narrowed. But that means he is stronger than Rias-san? That's absurd. I never heard that a piece is stronger than the king, refute. Tsubaki shook her head. As you can see, it actually could happen, Sona said calmly. Tokyo Issei's house. Everyone from Rias peerage is looking at Naruto with a curious gaze. Naruto himself didn't show any emotion on his face, but just glanced at each of them. They were all sitting at the living room and waiting to hear Rias' explanation. Everyone, meet my other knight, Naruto. Rias introduced Naruto to her peerage. Then she turned to Naruto and remarked. Ora, Naruto. Introduce yourself to my peerage. Hey, muttered Naruto carelessly. I am Naruto. No surname, never know it. I am Ojo-sama's knight. Oh, and I am her first piece of evil piece as well. First to greet him, of course, was the polite and disciplined Yuto. Nice to meet you, Naruto-san. Also welcome to Rias peerage. Thank you for helping out our Bucho in the raiding game. Yuto raised a hand for Naruto to shake. You are welcome. But that was just my duty. To comply with any of Ojo-sama's wishes. That's the duty as her servant, replied Naruto and shook Yuto's hand. Yuto smiled at Naruto's statement. This Naruto is sure so easy to get along with. Next to greet him is Akino. Of course, being the flirtatious as she is, she couldn't help but try to seduce Naruto. It's only a bonus that Naruto is fairly good looking. Oh, my never knew Bucho has such a handsome knight. Why did you hide him from us? Perhaps you afraid that I will snatch him away from you? Yufufu Akino turned to Rias with mischievous eyes, and then covered mouth with her hand and closed her eyes with a taunt laugh. As if I need to hide him from you, Akino Rias shot back and then glanced at Naruto deadpanned. It's because I gave him freedom to travel wherever he want, but when I need him he must return immediately. That was my agreement with him. I see, said Akino, then turned to Naruto with a friendly smile. I am Akino Himejima, Rias's queen. Nice to meet you, Naruto-kun. The pleasure is mine, Himejima-san, Naruto replied back with a smile. That immediately caused Rias to react. Ora! Why the heck are you greeting Akino properly? But called me a tomato of destruction when we met for the first time? Rias demanded furiously and pointing at Naruto. Do you need me to remind how you act that time, Oja-sama? Naruto retorted calmly with deadpan eyes. That actually shut Rias up immediately. So she just huffed and turned her head aside. The others were really surprised as this is the first time they saw Rias act like that. She is acting like a spoiled child. Tomato of destruction? Why did you call her that, Naruto-kun? Akino asked curiously while giggling a little. Well, where should I start? Naruto tapping his chin with index finger with mischievous eyes and glancing at Rias playfully. Don't you dare, Naruto! Rias warned him with a very scary look. She even activated her power of destruction to make a point. Naruto laughed nervously and stated, Ahaha. I already forgot. It's been so long after all. Oh, it's a shame then. I thought I would have some material to blackmail our Bucho, whined Akino in disappointment. Naruto then turned to a petite girl that is munching chocolate chips. What is your name, Oju-chan? Don't know why, but you actually remind me of a cat. I am Kaneko Tuju. Nice to meet you, Naruto-senpai. Kaneko greeted him stoically. Kaneko, eh? Naruto thought for a while, then snapped his fingers as a nickname appeared in his mind. How about I call you Shiriniko then? Kaneko blinked. It's the first time someone decided to give her a nickname. That's acceptable. Kaneko nodded her head and took the other chip. Naruto then turned to Issei with an interested look. You must be that famous pawn that not only consumed 8 pieces at once, but also a host to Sekiryurai. Issei nodded his head and replied, That's right. I am Bucho's pawn, and I will make my dream come true. For effect, he pumped his fist up to the air. And what is your dream? Issei gained a pervert look and began to drool. To build my personal harem, of course. Is that so? But I am afraid you are already late. That Nawadori-kun that I fought recently has already managed to build his harem. With that comment, Naruto just added more salt to Issei's non-existent wound. You don't need to remind me about that. Issei shot back at Naruto with comical tears. Ha! What an interesting guy you are, Hyoto-san. You deserve a great nickname. Naruto laughed out loud and nodded to himself. Then he squinted his eyes and thought. When an idea came to him, he again snapped his fingers and turned to Issei with a smirk. Nah, how about harem kudiai? How did that sound, huh? Harem kudiai? Muttered Issei, trying out his new nickname. Then his smile widened and he shouted. Harem kudiai? Yes, I like that. But Kaneko's comment caused him to cry comically. You are certainly the worst, Issei-senpai. Stop giving my servants your stupid nickname, Naruto Rias said in annoyance. They are not stupid. And actually suit them both, Oja-sama retorted Naruto and crossing his hands. Then he narrowed his eyes slightly at her and wondered. Perhaps you want one for yourself as well, Oja-sama? You want me to change how I address you? Rias huffed and turned her head aside. Huh, who need your stupid nicknames? And I am your king, therefore your Oja-sama. That won't change, ever? Naruto rolled his eyes at her comment. Why she always act like this when he is around? Anyone just give him the damn answer. Asia was keeping silent the whole time. She is trying to be as close to Issei as possible. She is too shy to say anything to Naruto. Not that he made her feel uneasy, it's just that she is not good with dealing with strangers, especially males. Issei, seeing Asia is still acting shy, and nudged lightly to her ribs and whispered. Come on, introduce yourself, Asia. He is a good person. Hi, Issei-san. Asia nodded hesitantly. She took a deep breath to prepare herself. Ayano, my name is Asia Argento. And nice to meet you, Naruto-san. Nice to meet you too, Argento-san. I heard before you joined Ojusama, you were a nun, right? Asia nodded her head carefully. So do you regret being reincarnated to a devil? 'Cause being a devil you can't pray to God after all. Ah no, I don't regret that. Because by becoming a devil, I've met so many friends, Rias Bucho, Akino-san, Kaneko-chan, Kiba-san and Issei-san. Just that already made me extremely happy, replied Asia with a cute smile. I see. Naruto smiled slightly and nodded his head. Where Naruto will stay, Bucho? Wondered Akino suddenly. I haven't decided yet. But I will call my brother later to find out, replied Rias while tapping her chin. If you're not against it. I'd like for Naruto-kun to live with me at the shrine, Akino proposed while turned her lustful look at Naruto. Of course, Naruto just blinked back owlishly at her. Absolutely not. Naruto is my personal servant since I was 8. He must serve only me. Rias refuted Akino's idea completely. Ojo-sama, if I must live with you, then I request no more climbing to my bed naked. And no more stripping me at midnight, deadpan Naruto with crossed arms. What? Shouted Issei and cried tears of jealousy at Naruto. You had slept with Bucho? And that was not even once. He began to shake Naruto violently. Oh, harem kudai. Stop that. That was Ojo-sama that always climbed into my bed, not otherwise. Naruto tried to calm down the jealous Sekirudai. Bucho was already that naughty at such age? Akino asked teasingly. I just want to make him blush just once. But all attempts failed horribly. Rias sighed in defeat. Then it was decided that Naruto will spend the night at a cult club room. Rias and Asia decided to stay with Issei while Kaneko and Kiba returned to their respective house. Next morning, Issei's house. The crew has gathered again at Issei's house. A surprise guest has decided to grace them with her presence. It was none other than Grafia. She has arrived to tell them about the congratulations party that Surzex has opened to celebrate his sister's first victory in a raiding game. I bid goodbye for now, Rias-sama. And once more congratulations on your victory, said Grafia stoically before she was teleported by Gremry's seal. It appears that my brother has hosted a congratulations party on my victory over Riser. Well, we should be going now. Don't need to keep my Oni-sama wait, replied Rias and turned to her peerage. Hi Bucho, said everyone except Naruto. He found Issei's old Game Boy and is playing in it right now. Not hearing his response, Rias approached him with deadpan eyes and snatched his ear. Itai Ojo-sama. Release my ear at once. I've heard you clearly. Naruto is pleading for her to let go of his ear and is wincing in pain. Don't ever ignore me, Naruto. Or it will be worse, understand? Rias warned him with the chilling eyes. Naruto nodded his head, and when she let go of his ear, he sighed in relief. Now they remind me of mother and son. It's so confusing. What kind of relationship do they have? Comment Issei with a sweat drop. And it's funny to see someone that had defeated that grilled chicken being scolded by Bucho. I think their relationship is unique and cute, added Asia, smiling at Rias as she continued to scold Naruto while he just rolled his eyes. It seems he just wanted her to end her scolding ASAP so that he could return to his game. Maybe Bucho had that kind of fetish. Fufu, that comment came from Akino. Giddy's underworld. Rias and her peerage have changed their clothes to suit the grand party. The first thing they saw is there are lots of people there. They all came here to congratulate Satan's sister on her first victory in raiding game. Rias spots Sona and Tsubaki. She decided to approach her with Akino. Yuto and Kaneko go to eat some food. Well, Issei, being the pervert he is, couldn't take his eyes from young attractive she-devils. Naruto is walking around with a bored look to pass the time. Such grand parties are not in his taste at all. Congratulations on the winning again, Rias. Sona congratulated her best friend. Thank you, Sona. But actually that fellow over there did all the works, replied Rias, and pointing her big finger at the standing figure of Naruto in the distance. I know that. You never actually told me that you are the master of Invincible Knight. Why is that, wondered Sona curiously, also glancing at Naruto to inspect him. That's because Oni-sama said that Naruto is a unique piece. It's not wise to reveal him to anyone. Besides, he is annoying like hell. Always try to make me the one who is at fault, replied Rias and snort at the end. I remembered that during the raiding game. You said it yourself, that it was your fault, reasoned Sona, and adjusting her glasses. TCH, even so I don't like it when he is right and I am not, Rias retort and huff. Sona could only sigh at her friend's antics. But this Naruto has opened to her a new personality of Rias. One that she didn't know exists. And she noticed that she only acts exclusively with him like that. That's certainly interesting. Naruto has caught the attention of many female devils with his good looks. But they also recognize him as Invincible Knight. As usual, he will say something extremely shameless and dismiss it as a joke. Clearly those female devils also knew that rule about him and tried to get their hands on him. Though it's futile, no matter what they do they couldn't make Naruto flush. While the peerage is enjoying the party, Naruto decided to search for Surzex to give him a not very pleasant surprise for trying to marry his Oja-sama without her permission. Long time no see, Naruto-kun? Naruto turned his head to the right and saw Surzex in an expensive suit waving and smiling at him. Naruto wordlessly approached Surzex and punched him unexpectedly. Surzex actually knew that Naruto will punch him. He even knew the reason why. That's why he let Naruto hit him. But Naruto had monstrous strength would send him flying a coup meters back and crash to the ground. I don't need to explain why I did that, right, Surzex-sama? Naruto looked down at Surzex calmly, like what he just did didn't bother him. Surzex slowly stood up, cleaning the dust from his clothes and rubbing his cheek to ease the pain from Naruto's punch. Yeah. I promised to never do something like that again to my Ryutan. Surzex rubbed his cheek and winced in pain. Even so, that was brutal, Naruto-kun. To punch me like that after we didn't see each other for so long. I wouldn't have punched you if you, Gremory-sama and Venilana-sama pulled a stunt like that, Naruto retort with deadpan eyes. To me, Oja-sama's happiness is the first priority. Gremory clan business, political marriage, 3 faction wars, something like that are secondary. That's I want you to remember, Surzex-sama. Naruto remarks with an expressionless facade. I understand, Naruto-kun. Surzex nodded his head and then turned to Naruto. But you also be careful out there. Even knowing how powerful you are, I knew that there is someone that even you won't be able to handle. Don't worry about me, Surzex-sama. I had made a vow to never lose ever again. I will win in any situation, replied Naruto, looking serious like never before. Those eyes Surzex had first seen when he picked him up in that accident of 8 years ago. The day Surzex has found out that a new unique being was created in order to overthrow the 4 great Maos, Grigori and gods. The day he found out the existence of Ultimate Occult Research Club room at midnight. After the congratulations party, Naruto returned to the occult club to rest. The others have gone their way as well. Naruto turned his head aside to the right and felt that his head has touched something soft. The feeling is really pleasant, so Naruto decided to dive his head further. But the moment he did that, he heard a soft moan, a female voice. Hearing that moan, Naruto could only guess one possibility. Slowly he opened his eyes, and indeed his Oja-sama is lying next to him with closed eyes, naked. Naruto blinked for a minute, then sighed and rubbed his temples. I should have known that old habits die hard, Naruto muttered to himself, still looking at the sleeping Rias. She has a smile on her face. Actually, every time she slept with Naruto, she had that smile. Naruto stared at his Oja-sama longingly for a while. And admit that she is indeed very beautiful. However, he has lost such feelings as lust, shame, even love. So even if Oja-sama will be interested in him, he won't be able to reply her feelings. Naruto sighed and then looked at the ceiling. He started to recall how he had obtained his Sharingan. And those memories sure are not pleasant at all. Flashback 11 years ago. Naruto is a 5-year-old orphan. He has a small body for a boy his age and really thin. He never knew who his parents were. As far as he remembered, he always lived in this orphanage. Naruto is a fairly intelligent boy for the boy of his age. And that's why he is always lonely, because the kids his age couldn't understand what he says. Right now they were in the park and enjoyed themselves. Well, the kids enjoyed themselves, but Naruto is alone again. He just looked at how the other kids play silently. Suddenly he felt someone tapped his shoulder. He turned his head back. He was immediately captivated by the innocence and beauty of the girl in front of him. The girl has jet black hair and shining blue eyes like him. She wears a white dress that suits her perfectly. You are Naruto-kun, right? Why did you not play with us? Wondered the girl cutely. Because they told me I am weird by saying those confused things. They think I am weird and don't want to play with me, Naruto replied with a sigh. Oh, was the girl's reply. Then she remembered that she didn't tell him her name. I am Kagayaki by the way. I am Naruto. Just Naruto, don't know a family name. Naruto introduced himself to the girl. Nice to meet you, Naruto-kun. If you don't mind, I will be your friends from now on, exclaimed Yum with that cute voice. Naruto blinked his eyes in surprise. You want to be my friend? Yuma nodded her head in affirmative. But nobody want to be friends with me, because I am weird. Well, I think you are just more advanced than the others. They couldn't keep up with your thoughts and therefore think you are weird, retort Yum. Naruto smiled widely as he got his first friend. And so as time passed, Naruto and Yuma became best friends. But as the time passed, Yuma also realized that she is falling in love with Naruto. Of course, Naruto was just a child and couldn't notice that. Even Yuma herself couldn't understand what is going with herself. Everything was fine, until they appeared. The Tengus from Yukai faction. To be more precise, a Karasu Tengu by the name of Yatagarasu and Konoha Tengu by the name of Sajobo. Those two came and began to create chaos in the city. They killed lots of people and sealed their souls in some container. Those two were demons. They killed everyone in the city and spared only Naruto. When they realized that Naruto could become an ultimate, the goal that they are striving to achieve. Yatagarasu and Sajobo goal is to create ultimate. A being with powers that surpassed even God, and all those powers were concentrated all in a pair of eyes. By injecting the blood to Naruto's veins, they managed to mutate his eyes and thus creating Sharingan. But Yatagarasu is very power hungry. He managed to find out a way to evolve Sharingan even more. One day, he managed to trick Sajobo and sealed him away in Naruto's Sharingan. Naruto's Sharingan began to evolve and transform to a pinwheel. Yatagarasu called it Manjikyu Sharingan. And the final step in creating the ultimate. That's to consume all 5,000 souls in Manjikyu Sharingan to gain a new powers, 1,000 souls for each power. Where did Yatagarasu gain so many souls? He collected the souls in the 3 faction wars, of course, but nobody actually knew about that. Naruto's Manjikyu powers are Tsukuyumi, the power of absolute illusion, Amaterasu, the flame of eternity, Kamui, the power to distort space and even jump to his dimension, Koto Amatsukami, power of absolute control, and Susanoo, the embodiment of Sajobo power. But Susanoo has manifested before the consumption of souls, because that is the embodiment of Sajobo's power. By the time he consumed all 5,000 souls, Naruto is no longer a human, but an ultimate, a being with powers surpassed even gods. By the way, Naruto has managed to combine some of his powers into one and accidentally invent something he called Eternal Manjikyu Sharingan. It's basically took one form of his eyes to the base and infused the other form in it. Not even 4 great mouths could compare to him. But in order for Naruto to remain sane, he himself had got rid of emotions that could possibly drive him insane. With such powers, Naruto completely wiped his creator to the floor with only fraction of his powers. But Yatagarasu was also cautious. He had infused a command in Naruto's head that he won't be able to kill him no matter what. After Yatagarasu managed to escape, the newly promoted 4 great mouths have appeared. They were of course shocked by seeing all the destructions. And only seeing an 8-year-old boy with a calm look on his face when he looked at them. That's when Naruto met all 4 great mouths for the first time. End flashback. Naruto shook his head to shake off those memories. How the heck he is still sane after that? Even he didn't know how. But Ijuka wants to keep the secret of Naruto being an ultimate, create a special piece of night for him. The story of how he met his king for the first time. That's the story for another time. Naruto then looked aside and realized that Rias has moved closer to him. Since when did she manage that? Then suddenly Rias climbed atop on his body and snuggled to his chest. A smile radiated from her lips. Naruto's sweat dropped, seeing his king's actions. But he didn't stop her, of course. The least he need is to disturb his Oju-sama's sleep. So Naruto just decided to close his eyes with a soft smile and fall to sleep again. Next day, Occult Research Club. Naruto groggily opened his eyes and already see his Oju-sama's face that was really close to hers. She has a mischievous grin with her blue-green eyes. She is still lying atop of him, by the way. Well, how is your sleep, Naruto? Did my presence made your sleep more pleasant? Rias asked seductively and blinking her eyes suggestively. On the contrary, Oju-sama. Your presence here made me harder to fall asleep? Deadpan Naruto looked lazily to her eyes. Oh? Is that because you are dreaming about me? Rias teased and pressed her further at Naruto's chest to provoke him. No, Oju-sama. It's because you are stealing my space on my bed, retort Naruto with deadpan eyes. Now why won't you ever blush? Rias whined like a spoiled little girl that didn't get what she wanted and pouted. Naruto's sweat dropped and remarked. Ho? So that's what you are trying to achieve, Oju-sama? Rias sat up straight, which revealed her voluptuous naked body behind the covers. She huffed and then squeezed her in front of Naruto. I don't understand. How could you not blush at all when you seeing this? Rias implied to her perfect bouncing ball of flesh. Perhaps you are not even straight. I take offense to that comment. You know, Naruto shot back when his Oju-sama implied that he is gay. That's the last thing he wants her to think about him. Then prove to me, retort Rias with a devious smirk. Huh? Prove what? Naruto suspected what she implied, but still want to know for sure. Rias rolled her eyes at his question and stated. Duh, Prove to me that you are straight, of course. Naruto still decided to play an innocent card and pretend to ask. How? Rias has enough and was about to pounce at Naruto. But that moment a door opened and some people walked in. Those people were none other than her peerage. Issei was the first one to react, of course. He appeared in a flash in front of Naruto and pointed accusingly at him. How dare you steal Bucho's virginity from me, Naruto? That should have been me. And I really think that we could become friends. Naruto sighed out tiredly and then looked deadpan at Issei. Look here, harem-obsessed idiot. Nothing happened between me and Oju-sama. She just sneaks into my bed like before, that's all. Really? Issei asked hopefully. Naruto decided to not answer the idiot's question. Yada! I still have a chance to take Bucho's virginity. Issei pumped his fist in the air and cried tears of relief. But Rias just pouted when Naruto explained the situation between them. She would have thought at least this situation will make her progress, but no. Issei-senpai, you are the worst, replied Kaneko in monotone voice, which caused Issei to cry again. But Bucho sure is naughty again. First Issei-kun, now you switch to Naruto-kun. That's too greedy, you know, Akino joked with an amused smile. But her eyes still often glance at Naruto's muscular figure that can be seen even through his t-shirt. Naruto wears a simple t-shirt with yin-yang design on it. And of course what Akino saw she liked very much. Rias noticed how Akino is checking her personal servant, and gave her a light glare. Somehow Naruto feels that things will become even more troublesome now. He should have stayed in the underworld. No, actually there is not safe as well. Who knows when that crazy Leviathan decided to rape him? At the thought, Naruto felt shivers down his spine. Everywhere is not safe. Why the heck God hate him like that? Maybe because he has a power that could crush him like a bug? Bucho, you forget to inform Naruto-san that he will study in Koa Academy from now on, right? Deduced Kiba. Rias decided to snuggle closer to Naruto, which made the later eyes twitch in annoyance. Oh yeah. I totally forgot about that. She turned her head to Naruto and said, Naruto, from now you are a student of Koa Academy. Why the heck you didn't inform me earlier? Naruto deadpan, looking down at his Oju-sama with apathetic blue eyes. I don't like school, so why should I do that? Rias narrowed her eyes and leaned in closer to Naruto and retort. Because I said so. You don't have a choice, Naruto. As a punishment, today you must carry me in your hands to school. Naruto face fault and refute. Why am I being punished again? Stop. Don't answer that. I already deducted that. Naruto put his finger to her lips just as Rias about to respond. Rias actually blushed a little, feeling his finger on her lips. Naruto turned to the others and said, Now I want for everyone to go outside so we can change. Just as Issei was about to protest, Naruto added, Don't worry, I will go to the bathroom to change. Oju-sama will change here. Rias pouted her lips, but she should expect that. If one day Naruto decided to change clothes in one room with her or bathing with her, that will be the day the world end. Naruto also noticed that Asia stayed silent the whole time. And surely she stayed as close to Issei as possible. Maybe she actually felt something that others couldn't feel. After everyone go outside, Akino before exit actually winked at Naruto before leaving. Of course, Rias was not pleased by her gesture. Scene change. Koa Academy. All the girls are blushing red seeing a super hot blonde is carrying Rias Wanisama in his arms. Surely the blonde has deadpan expression all the time, but that still didn't make him less attractive. Rias herself was very satisfied. She embraced Naruto around the neck with both arms and watches the look of jealousy on some girl's face. And sure, behind them not so far, Issei is biting his shirt with tears of jealousy. But suddenly Naruto stopped as he felt two holy energies ahead of him. The energies were not that powerful, so it definitely not angel. Still, what the heck servants of church doing on the territory of a devil? That he will need to find out. Issei just recently managed to get a contract with a seemingly human. The human requested him to spend one day in a week with him. In exchange he will make contract with Issei. That human has a hobby of fishing really late at night. So Issei must often to return home very late. But he wasn't disappointed though, because Asia will always on his bed in her birthday suit and sometime Akino-san. Issei looked a little down when he began to think about Rias Bucho. Since the day Naruto appeared, she didn't climb to his bed anymore. Sure, he knew that Naruto was Bucho's first friend and they were really close. Still, he didn't like it. He noticed that Naruto is extremely strange though. He can't find any lust coming from him when he lied with a naked Rias on top of him. What are you thinking about so much, huh, devil? Asked the human that he signed a contract with. It was an old man with short black hair and a yellow bang with cover his front, The man also has a beard. His eyes were purple like that of fallen angels that he saw. Nothing actually, replied Issei and turned his head to the man. Is that so? If you want to talk then I will listen. You helped me out a lot from dying of bored after all. The man looked at Issei and smirked. No, it's nothing really, Issei refute. He then looked up to the sky and wondered. Will Bucho ever going to show him her pay anymore? Next day elsewhere in the city. Two figures were seen walking in really large robes that cover their faces. Nothing can be seen except the lower part of their face and the mop of hair. One figure has a mop of blue hair that was seen under the hood. The other has chestnut hair, the rest was also hidden by the hood. The one with blue hair seems to carry something really big and has a form of a sword wrapped in bandages. I am so hungry, Zenobia-chan whined a figure with chestnut hair. The other figure sighed and said, It was our fault that we forgot to bring food with us. Now we must find the nearest church to spend the night first. About the food, a sound of stomach rumbling interrupts her statement. Gah! I am so hungry! I can't stand it anymore, the figure with chestnut hair shouts out exasperatedly, and raised her hands up in frustration. If you two are that hungry, then I may as well treat you for a lunch, said a voice behind them. They were startled by the voice. Because they couldn't feel, whoever is behind them, presence at all. When they turned to the direction of the voice, they saw a very attractive teenage boy with lazy eyes. The boy wears a high-collar white t-shirts with small yin-yang symbol at the top corner on the right of his t-shirts and black pants that often was seen wore by Kung Fu Master. Naruto decided to sneak out of the class today. Surely he knows that he will get some punishments when Ojo-sama find out, or even Sonakaishu, but he already told Ojo-sama that he didn't have any attention to go to school. After changing his clothes in Kamui Dimension, Naruto decided to go to Game District. But the two figures in front of him caught his attention because of their holy energies. And based by their conversation, they are very hungry. So Naruto decided to help them out to find out what are they doing here in the territory of Rias Gremory. Hearing that immediately caused the chestnut figure to immediately appeared in front of Naruto and asked, Really? You will treat us to a lunch? Naruto's sweat dropped hearing her voice so excited like that. Guess this two were very hungry. Why yeah. I just can't walk away when I see two girls need help. Yay! The figure with chestnut hair jumped up and down happily. She then turned to Zenobia and stated, You hear that, Zenobia? This hot boy is gonna treat us to lunch. The figure with blue hair just smiled slightly and nodded her head. Well, let's go then, exclaimed Naruto. The two girls began to follow him. At some restaurant. After ordering some food, Naruto and the girls began to wait for their order. Seeing them still in their robes, Naruto proposed. Maybe you two should get out of those robes because eating in them won't be so comfortable. We are fine. Thank you for concern, refute the girl with blue hair. They are still wearing hoods, by the way. At least, put down your hood then. Both the figures looked at each other and nodded their head. When they put down their hood, Naruto slightly raised his eyebrows. These girls are fairly good looking. The one with blue hair has a short hairstyle and has a green fringe on the right side of her hair. She also has dark yellow eyes. The one with chestnut color held her hair in twin tails. She also has big purple eyes that looked really innocent. Unlike her partner whose look is more mature. The girls also checking out the boy in front of them. He has spiky yellow hair with the front bangs slightly cover his eyes and the side bangs framing his face. He had a slight mundane look. That is strange, because as far as they know males always ogle when there are beautiful females in front of them. Yet this boy seems indifferent about that fact. One more thing that made them curious is that they felt a slight holy energy coming from him. Does this boy is like them as well? When the food was brought to them, both girls began shove as much food to their throat as possible. Seeing that sight caused Naruto to sweat dropped. These two maybe didn't eat for a week to be this hungry. After they finished, both began to pay their stomach. Ah, I feel full now, exclaimed the girl with chestnut twin tails. She then turned to Naruto with her big innocent eyes and prayed. Thank you for your kindness. May God bless you. Normally hearing that if Naruto was a devil then he will feel headache. But as an ultimate, things like curses and prayers did not affect him. It's nothing really. I just help out the two girls in need, retort Naruto, and drinking his lemon tea. Still you are the only one that decided to help us. I appreciate that, replied the girl with short blue hair. Well, let's introduce ourselves first for a start. I am Naruto. No family name. What about you two? I am Zenobia Korda. Nice to meet you, Naruto-san. Zenobia bowed her head politely in greetings. My name is Irina Shido. It's a pleasure to meet you, Naruto-kun. Irina winked playfully at him. Zenobia decided to ask the question that was on her mind right away. I feel a bit of holy energy coming from your body, Naruto-san. Could you explain me why is it in you? Naruto felt a bit surprised. He has a bit of holy energy in him? That fact he heard for the first time. Sorry, Korda-san. But I, myself, didn't know that it exists in me until you point that out. I see, replied Zenobia. This boy didn't even aware that he has holy energy in him? That's strange. Thank you once more for treating us, Naruto-san. But I think it's time we must leave. You can come to nearby church to visit us if you want though. Yeah. I will be glad to see Naruto-kun any time, exclaimed Irina energetically. With that, both girls stood up and left him alone there. Naruto is still thinking about the new information that he recently found out about himself. There is holy energy in him. The question is, how did it appear in his body? He then looked at his watch and sighed. It's still so early, he may as well visit the game district to kill the time. That evening, Occult Research Club room. The atmosphere in the room was a mix of rage, amusement, and even fear. Well, rage coming from Rias. She couldn't believe that annoying idiot decided to ditch school on the second day. She has been lectured by Sona to control her servants more strictly. Amusement is coming from Akino. That Naruto-kun sure is amusing. He could rile up Bucho anytime he wants, not only that he decided to do whatever he wants. Fear is coming from Issei, sensing Bucho's rage cause Issei tremble in fear. He was not foreign from female fury after all. Kaneko and Kiba were also in the room. Kaneko is reading manga while eating chocolate chips. Kiba though keeps silent. He just looked down to the ground in deep thought. Yesterday, when he accidentally noticed a holy sword on Issei's child photo, he started to recall his goal, why he exists. And then not long after that, he encountered the same crazy exorcist Freed. He is the only survivor of the Holy Sword Project. And he has devoted his life to destroy all fragments of Excalibur. That Naruto! How dare he ditch his school just right after he was registered to it yesterday? Rias shouted out furiously. But didn't Naruto-senpai already told you that he hated schools? Kaneko replied in monotone voice while not taking her eyes from the manga. He still didn't have any right to ditch class. Do you how much I need to hear Sona lecture me about controlling my servant more strictly? Retort Rias while holding her temples. Perhaps Naruto-kun decided to hang out with other girls, perhaps he just wants to hide the hidden pervert in him. Akino exclaimed with mischievous eyes. But he joke didn't work because Rias has a deadpan expression on her face. Zetai Murray. It's about Naruto we are talking about. And he is such a prude. He sure as hell won't ever do something like that unknown to both though. Akino actually was right. Forgot to mention Asia, she is keeping herself close to Issei as usual. Asia was confused about Naruto when she first met him. This fact only she noticed maybe because she was a former nun, but Naruto has a bit of holy energy on him. And she could see through the illusion that he put himself as a devil. Naruto is not a devil, that Asia was sure of. But then why did he need to hide that fact by pretending to be a devil? It seems Naruto-kun won't appear any time soon, any Bucho? Akino looked out to the window and the sky began darken. It seems so. I've forgotten to mention this, but yesterday I felt 2 humans with holy energy that entered our territory. Be careful out there, everyone. Rias warned her peerage and narrowed her eyes cautiously. That night Issei's house, when Issei and Asia returned home, they immediately noticed 2 holy energies inside his house. Issei and Asia rushed to his house in hurry and worry. Unknown to them, Naruto has camued himself on top of Issei's roof and looked down as both of them run in the house. When he reached the living room, he heard a cute female laugh coming from the room. Issei slowly opened the door and saw 2 attractive girls wearing robes sitting opposite of his mother. The girl with chestnut hair immediately noticed Issei and exclaimed, "Long time no see, Issei-kun." Issei just blinked in confusion. Did he know this hottie? Don't you remember me? It's me. The girl is pointing at herself and smiles cutely. Issei still couldn't recall the girl, so his mother decides to refresh his memory by showing the photo album. She showed the same picture that Kiba has accidentally put his eyes on yesterday. Look here. This girl in the photo is Shido Irina-chan. Issei was surprised hearing that, because he actually thought that the girl in the photo with him is actually a boy, because of what she wore back then. Huh. But that was all Issei could spell. She was such a tomboy back then, but now she has grown up to a real beauty, any? Said his mother with a smile. Sorry to disappoint you, Hyodo-san. But I actually found someone more suitable for me than Issei-kun, Irina retorted, while thinking about that mystery boy she met and treat both her and Zenobia to a lunch. That's disappointing. Issei's mother whined in slight grief. I really thought that you are a boy back then, exclaimed Issei. That actually surprised his mother. That's just rude, Issei. How could you? But Irina decided to interrupt her. It can't be helped. I look like a boy back then after all. Irina then narrowed her eyes slightly like she knew something. So many things have changed since we part ways, right? You can never tell how people will change. Zenobia though just glanced at both Asia and Zenobia with apathetic gaze. Not feeling anything dangerous, Naruto decided to Kamui back home. But when he arrived there, a very piss-off Rias was standing there, and tapping her feet rapidly. Naruto began to sweat from nervousness. Sure, he knew what the result of his action will be, and that didn't change the fact that his Oja-sama is looking very scary right now. What do you have to say for yourself, Naruto? Rias asked with a chilling voice. Nothing. I already told you I don't like schools. You can't force me to go there, retorted Naruto calmly, and lied down at the sofa. Do you know how much troubles I get from Sona, huh? Exclaimed Rias, and putting her hands on her hips. Her eyes are squinting in displeasure. Hi, I won't ditch school anymore. School is such a pain, replied Naruto lazily and looked up at the ceiling. Rias decided that it's enough nagging at Naruto for now. She suddenly jumps on him and buries her face in his chest. Naruto looked down lazily at the top of her head and exclaimed. When will you stop doing this, Oja-sama? Rias looked up at him playfully and also answered his question with the other question. When will you stop asking when I will stop doing this, huh, Naruto? Naruto rolled his eyes and made a chi, then closed his eyes again. Rias decided to enjoy the moment for a while before she fall asleep. Next day, Occult Research Club. Zenobia and Irina decided to meet up with Rias Gremory to talk to her about their business. Everyone was present, except for Naruto. He is standing outside the room right now. No need to reveal himself as part of Rias' peerage when it's not necessary. I appreciate your cooperation. I am Zenobia. Zenobia introduced herself. I am Shido, Irina said, Irina with her cute voice. Well, for what reason would servants of God desire to meet a devil? Wondered Rias, and crossed her arms under her busy as well as crossed her legs. We are here to return the stolen 3 fragments of Excalibur that was stolen by fallen angels, explained Irina. Hearing that caused everyone from the peerage to gasp in surprise. Stolen? Repeated Issei. The ones we have are this, the Holy Sword of Destruction, Excalibur of Destruction. Zenobia present them the huge sword that she carry along. And my Holy Sword of Mimicry, Excalibur Mimicry, continued Irina, winking, and showed a rope that wrapped around her left biceps. So what do you want from us? Wondered Rias. This matter is between us and fallen angels. We can't afford to deal with devils of this city, stated Zenobia with serious look. You really thought that we would side with fallen angels to do something to the holy swords? Retorted Rias, and her eyes became more seriously. Zenobia met her with the same gaze and replied. Devils hated holy swords. You are in the same position as fallen angels. Rias felt piss off that can be seen through her eyes as they began to glow crimson. If need, we will deal with you as well, Rias Gremory. It doesn't matter if you are the sister of one of Mao's, warned Zenobia with cold voice. You are well informed. But I will at least say this. I will never side with a fallen angel, exclaimed Rias with certainty. That is good to hear. I know that Mao's sister is not that foolish. We will be on the way now, said Zenobia. Then both she and Irina prepared to leave. Rias invited them to drink tea, but Zenobia declined and said that she has no intentions to befriend a devil. Zenobia then looked at the corner of her eyes at Asia. Since the moment I stepped up in Hyodo Issei's house, I felt a familiar presence. Are you Asia Argento? Demanded Zenobia, looking at Asia. Hi, replied Asia with soft voice. I never thought I'd see a witch here, exclaimed Zenobia with apathetic eyes. Asia's eyes widened in surprise at being called a witch again. Oh, so you are the same ex-nun that was exiled for the ability of not healing devils, but fallen angels as well? Never imagined that you'd become a devil, added Irina. Asia is looking down to the ground in shame and distress. She couldn't justify herself because what they said is the truth. To think that a saint became a devil. What a disgrace, said Zenobia disdainfully. Team! Shut the hell up! Issei shouted out in irritation. He can't let those two insult Asia anymore. Issei-senpai Kaneko stopped him before her could charge at those two. He nearly forget that if he did things carelessly, then there will be a war between church and devils. Do you still believe in our God? Zenobia asked Asia while still looking at her with apathetic eyes. Zenobia, she is a devil, remind Irina. Still, some heretics feel some guilt and retain a little of their faith. I can sense that from her. Really? Asia could only look down to the ground in distress. Asia-san, do you still believe in the Lord even though you're a devil? Irina asked Asia innocently. I just can't forget him. I believe in him my whole life, countered Asia meekly. In that case, let us kill you now. I am sure God will forgive you for your sins, exclaimed Zenobia, shocking everyone. Rias has enough and was just about to threaten the blue-haired girl that she won't let anyone belittle her servants. Now, that's just not nice at all, Zenobia-san. After I treated you two to a lunch, you insult my friend like that. Naruto stepped in the room, which startles everyone because none of them felt his presence. Zenobia and Irina were surprised to see Naruto appeared. Does that mean that he is also the servant of Rias Gremory? But that's just absurd. If that is true, that why the heck is there a holy energy in him? He is a devil, right? Naruto-san, I am surprised to see you here, replied Zenobia calmly, looking at Naruto. Naruto-kun, hide yo. You deceive us by hiding your devil energy. And I thought we will be a perfect couple, whined Irina, and holding her heart with fake tears. Hearing some stares drilling at him, Naruto started to sweat a little. Damn that girl and her mouth. Era, it seems I was right after all, Bucho exclaimed Akino teasingly. Rias just drilled him with a deadpan gaze. Issei ignored all that. He won't forgive that brunette for insulting Asia like that. You two are just fools that blindly follow the rules of the church. Someone like you can't possibly understood Asia's kindness and sufferings. Issei glares daggers at Zenobia and clutched his fist tightly. Naruto glanced at Issei and saw he is indeed furious right now. It will be a perfect chance to see what Sekiryutai is capable of, and to see how strong Irina and Zenobia are. Then how about a friendly spar, ahem? Naruto proposed while crossing his hands. Naruto! Exclaimed Rias at such idea. She didn't need for Issei to get hurt by fighting holy sword wielders. It's fine with me, that statement coming from Kiba. He is leaning to the door with crossed hands and glares slightly at both saint girls. It felt like you just read my mind, Naruto-san. And who are you supposed to be? Zenobia turned to face Kiba. Your senpai, Kiba replied plainly. Yuto! Exclaimed Rias. Senpai? Repeated Zenobia and narrowed her eyes slightly. I am the only survivor of Holy Sword Project, explained Yuto calmly. Hearing that, Naruto narrowed his eyes a bit. So he was also a victim of the experiments in humans. We've something in common now, Kiba-san. Rias looked sternly at Naruto. Naruto glanced back at her and sent her a silent message with his eyes. If things goes too far, then I will step up. With that, both Saints and Rias Knight and Pawn went outside for the spar. The rest followed them to observe the spar. Asia looked slightly guilty because this fight happens because of her. Then she glanced at Naruto from the corner of her eyes. She still felt the same holy energy coming from him. How is that possible? A devil can have holy energy in him. But Naruto didn't feel like a devil either. For some reason unknown, only she could sense that. Naruto is hiding himself as a devil in the eyes of Bucho and the others. Asia knows one thing for sure. Naruto is not a devil, nor he has fallen angel. Could Naruto be a spying angel? No, that's absurd as well. Just who is Naruto really? Asia really wants to find the answer to that question. Issei and Yuto stared at their opponents calculatingly and prepared to fight when need. Well, that was on Yuto's mind. In Issei's mind, he can't wait to see those wondrous figures of two maidens underneath those heavy cloaks. Just thinking about that, his expression has turned lecherous with him knowing about that. From aside, Rias and Akino noticed Issei's change of expression and sighed at his perverse mature. The sigh came from Rias, while Akino is giggling amusingly. Kaneko gained a deadpan look on her face when she looked at Issei. Naruto is the only one with neutral face. He finds Issei interesting and now he wants to know why. Okay, Harem Kudiai. Show me how Sekiryutai fight. Naruto exclaimed and crossed his hands. Issei turned to Naruto with fire of passion in his eyes. He pointed at Naruto and shouted. Yosha! Now I am gonna show you how I fight, emotionless Yuru. Behold the power of Bucho's pawn. Just as he finished that statement, Irina has charged at him with her Excalibur mimic. She aimed at his stomach, but Issei managed to jump back to avoid, though barely, as her attack gave him a tear on his shirt. Issei looked down at the tear and sighed in relief. That was close. But Irina continued to assault him, which caused Issei to dodge every slash. Meanwhile, Yuto and Zenobia have their own battle. Yuto activated his sword birth, which piqued Zenovia's interest. Sword birth? I remember that there was a subject that has such sacred gear in the Holy Sword Project. I see. So that was you, stated Zenobia, and unclothed her Excalibur destruction. At the sight of the sword, Yuto began to laugh out loud. Zenobia, hearing his laugh, narrowed her eyes and wondered. You are laughing? Yes. Because after so long I finally found something that I must destroy, replied Yuto, and picked up one of the sword created by sword birth. Zenobia rushes forward with her Excalibur destruction and engaged Yuto. Yuto intercepted the strike, but he was barely holding it off. He was forced to jump back to analyze the situation. TCH, even if it is only a fragment of the original Excalibur, the power of it is still bothersome. To destroy all 7 won't be so easy. We are at disadvantage here. Just a scratch from a holy sword is enough to harm a devil badly, commented Kino, and embraced her waist as she observed the battle. Yuto can compensate that disadvantage with the knight's speed. But Issei Rias comment, but when Irina's sword accidentally clashed with his gauntlet, nothing happened. His left hand already belongs to a dragon, so holy swords won't work on his left arm anymore, replied Naruto, analyzing the battle. Then he glanced at the battle between Yuto and Zenobia. Kiba-san may have speed, but Zenobia-san has more experience. After all, she was trained to fight with holy swords since she was little after all. Rias was about to refute, but must admit that Naruto was right. Both Yuto and Issei still have little experience in a battle, much like herself and Akino. Rias then turned to her second knight and wondered. Just how could he analyze the result of the battle from quickly by just observing it for some minute? Issei has held off against Irina for a while. The girl started to feel irritated and pouted. Why are you so strong, Issei-kun? You shouldn't be this strong. I am not the same Issei that you know anymore, and will prove to you that with my next attack, declared Issei and pointed at Irina. In response to his words, Boost Gear screamed. Boost! Issei gripped his fist tightly with fire in his eyes. Explosion! Issei's body was covered by green energy from his sacred gear. He even revealed his devil wings. He began to charge at Irina with a pervert smirk. Irina looked innocently at her childhood friend and wondered what he planned. But her instincts told her to avoid Issei's touch at all costs. Dress break. Kaneko decided to speak for the first time since the battle start. Be careful, Irina-san. Issei-senpai can rip off any female clothes to nothing with mere touch. When saying this, Kaneko has a deadpan look. Ora! Why are you helping the enemy, Kaneko-chan? Issei shouted at Kaneko. Because you are the enemy of all females, Kaneko replied, her deadpan expression remained on her face. What a horrible and pervert move, Issei-kun. I see that you weren't just being turned to a devil, but your heart is being tainted as well, Irina gasped and held her heart dramatically. Then she clasped her hands to pray. Oh, Kami-sama, please forgive such a pervert like Issei-kun. But Naruto seems to have different thought about Issei's pervert technique. He nodded curtly to himself and muttered analytically. Naruhodo. This technique was created to steal modesty from females as they worried about it very much. And when they tried to cover their modesty, you can knock them out with one move. As expected of Sekiryutai. Ria's sweat dropped, then turned to Naruto with deadpan eyes. How the heck he turned Issei's technique by his comment to a useful technique? Meanwhile, Yuto has difficulty with Zenobia. Surely he was faster, but his speed is useless, because that Excalibur could create explosion if the user desired. But he won't give up so easily. With sword birth, Yuto created a huge demonic sword and declared. Your strength is impressive. But how about now? Your Excalibur destruction or my demonic blade? Let's see who will win. Yuto charged at Zenobia, but it seems the weight of the blade is too much for him and slowed him down a bit. But that was all Zenobia need. She sidesteps Yuto's slash and hit him with sword guard, which knocked the air out of Yuto. Yuto! Rias exclaimed worriedly. Yuto fell to the ground and glared at Zenobia from his position. Zenobia looked down at Yuto coldly and mocked. I won, senpai. With that, Zenobia turned her back and started to walk away. But she stopped and glanced back at Yuto from the corner of her eyes. I will at least tell you this. The one in charge on that Inhuman project was Valper Galilei. And the one that helped him in that matter was a rogue exorcist. They both were exiled and considered heretics. Your hatred towards all holy sword users are ridiculous. After those words, Zenobia walked away carelessly. W8 Yuto gasped and raised his hand to reach out at Zenobia. With Issei. Issei tried to use his dress break on Irina, but she was too swift for him. In the end, Issei failed to rip off her clothes, but accidentally destroyed Kaneko and Asia's clothes, which earned him a super powerful punch from Kaneko. Rias immediately covered Naruto's eyes with her hands when Kaneko and Asia were stripped naked. Akino actually looked amused, seeing how Rias covered Naruto's eyes so that he won't be able to see them naked. It seems Rias didn't have a problem with Naruto seeing her naked, but she was against for him to see other girls' birthday suits. How interesting. Irina pitied her childhood friend, so she sat down and lectured him with her cute voice. Don't do it ever again, okay? Your perverseness will only bring more pain to your life. Like hell, muttered Issei and began to stand up slowly. Then he looked up with fire of passion in his eyes and shouted. Like hell I will stop. My goal is to destroy all female clothes in the world. Then all females will walk around naked. That was the ultimate goal that I am striving to. Irina's sweat dropped and deadpanned. How can you set about such a horrible goal with self-righteous expression? You are really a hopeless pervert. Naruto's eyes were still being covered by Ria's hands. What the heck is wrong with this girl? She didn't have a problem with him looks at her naked, but she refused to let him see the other girls naked. Oju-sama, I think you can uncover my eyes now. Seeing that Akino has brought out new clothes for Asia and Kaneko, Rias uncovered his eyes, but decided to stay by Naruto's side. Naruto turned to Rias with a boring look. Why did you cover my eyes, Oju-sama? Because you was about to see Asia and Kaneko naked, Rias replied simply. Naruto's sweat dropped at her reasoning. So it's okay for me to see you naked, but not other girls? I am your Oju-sama. Therefore you must look only at me. And if there is a body that you can look at naked, then it is mine, Rias replied, and flicking her crimson hair to the wind. Naruto looked deadpanned at Rias and refuted. Since when servants allowed seeing their masters naked, Yu Urasai. Why do you even complain about that? Maybe you actually want to see Asia and Kaneko naked? Perhaps you are a closet pervert. Rias stampeded at Naruto's remark and began to accuse him. Now where did that come from? You know well enough that I am not a pervert, Naruto replied calmly with a roll of his eyes. Rias felt frustrated seeing her idiot knight act so calmly. He just is pissing her off to no end. And it seems their arguing has caught the attention of both fighters. Irina puffed her cheeks cutely and glared slightly at Naruto. She didn't like the fact how close Naruto is to Rias. Yeah, right. Just what he need, one more troublesome girl that glares at him for no reason. During the fight, Issei was injured to the stomach by Irina's sword. The effect was immediately as he could feel strength leaving him. He couldn't even maintain his sacred gear and fall to the ground passed out. It seems the fight is over. I appreciate that you girls didn't kill my servants with holy swords. Rias stepped up to both exorcists. Then you would keep your part of bargain, right? Zenobia replied, looking at Rias. Yes, of course. But I want to know, did you find out about which fallen angel stole those holy swords? Rias wondered curiously. We managed to find out that all those doings come from one of the leader of Grigori, Kokubile, Zenobia stated, which surprised Rias. Before us, there was the exorcist. But he was killed brutally, added Zenobia. Naruto helped Yuto to stand up as he could barely stand after the battle. With the help of Naruto, Yuto stood up and informed them. It was freed Selzen. Coincidentally, I witnessed his murder. And he is carrying a holy sword with him. A rogue exorcist? Muttered Zenobia, narrowing her eyes. She then looked up at Yuto to thank him. I appreciate for that valuable information. Now we will leave. Issei-kun, if you want to die, come to me anytime, Irina said cutely and kissed her crest. Then she turned to Naruto and winked at him. And you, Naruto-kun, can call me anytime you want. I will welcome you anytime. Chu. Irina sent a butterfly kiss to Naruto. With that she ran to catch up with Zenobia. Certainly a deadpan expression appeared on Ria's face again. A tick mark appeared on her forehead, and she uttered his name slowly and dangerously. Now are you too? Naruto sighed again and rubbed his temples. He will soon turn crazy from his Oju-sama mood swings. Naruto couldn't understand a simple fact that Rias is jealous. Akino is giggling amusingly at the sight. Somehow the interaction between Rias and Naruto become her famous comedy movie. Scene change. After some arguing with Rias, Yuto walked out of the club silently. He did that knowing without her permission he could become a rogue devil. But even so, he must destroy those swords for the sake of his friends. Yuto looked up to the darkened sky and sighed. He knew that what he did was ungrateful because Bucho has given him life once more. He owed her his life. There are things that Oju-sama can't understand, Kiba-san. Naruto walked up to him. If you still want to pursue your goal, I can help you. Why do you want to help me, Naruto-san? Yuto wondered, looking at the blonde. You don't know this, but we have some things in common, replied Naruto, looking at Yuto blankly. Like what? I am a former subject for experiment, as well, Naruto said calmly and waiting for Yuto's reaction. As expected, Yuto widens his eyes hearing that. But he calmed down and muttered, I see. But the difference between us is that I didn't let the feeling of vengeance to consume me. And we lost different things in those experiments. You lost your friends while I was forced to throw away something to keep myself sane, Naruto replied calmly, like what he is saying is completely normal. Something to keep yourself sane? Yuto repeated with questionable look. What is that? Naruto kept silent for a while, then responded. Maybe I will tell you some other time. So do you want my help or not? Yuto smiled gratefully and bowed his head. I will be forever grateful for this, Naruto-san. Naruto just dismissed him by waving his hand. No need to bow your head. I know that Oji-sama will be pissed off when find out about me going with you. But I have heard her lecturing about hundreds of times. 101 won't be a difference. Next day at night. Naruto and Yuto were not the only one that decided to go for hunting the rogue exorcist, though. Issei and Kaneko had somehow managed to convince Saji from Sona Citri's peerage to join them. Issei and Kaneko want to help Yuto as they are friends. They had met up with Zenobia and Irina, that were hungry and without money again. They treated them to a lunch and proposed to form an alliance. Zenobia agreed because this time their enemy is one of the leaders of Grigori. With Rias and Sona. Rias and Sona are enjoying the sauna. Sona is tapping her naked body with big leaves to massage her body. You know Rias. That Naruto wasn't present in class, but the teacher still marked him like he was present. He used hypnotic magic on the teacher. Your other night sure is bothersome, said Sona, taking a sit next to her best friend. That troublemaker. And he even promised me that he will attend class. Rias fumed at the fact that Naruto fooled her once again. Well, based on the class journal, he could be counted as being present. But that's still not okay with me. Soma then turned to Rias and asked. I heard Kibakuin has left you. And it seems Naruto-san is with him as well. Yeah. But I won't ever let him go. He is from my peerage after all. And Naruto. I don't need to worry about him. Naruto never did anything without a reason before. The fact that he wanted to help Yuto may somehow connect to his past, Rias exclaimed, and crossing her hands under her bosom. I am interested just how strong is Naruto-san, and why did he decided to stay in your peerage? Sona asked curiously. Naruto was given to me by an Ai-sama. He told that Naruto will be my personal servant, and will always stay by my side. But I found that by chaining Naruto to myself will make his life boring. That's why when I become strong enough to protect myself, I gave him some freedom, Rias explained with nostalgic smile. I notice you are pretty overprotective and obsessed with him, Sona stated that as a fact. Rias decided to be at least honest with her best friend. To tell the truth, I am really attracted to him. Even knowing he always pissed me off with his non-caring expression. For some reason, I don't want for him to look at the other girls when they expose their body. Naruto also seems to lost the feel of lust. His reaction to females' naked body completely different from other males. You know, even your sister created a rule: whoever make him blush will have a right to claim him. But that is impossible, I am telling you. Rias was frustrated at all her failed attempt to make Naruto blush. One-sama pretty much was obsessed with Naruto-san as well. As far as claiming him to be her future husband, Soma sighed, recalling her troublesome childish mouse sister that always embarrassed her in public. Rias narrowed her eyes after hearing that fact. She won't ever hand Naruto to any females, be it Mao, goddess or archangel. Naruto will remain with her. Forever. Their conversation was interrupted when a mini magic seal appeared. From them, the astral figures of Akino and Tsubaki revealed. Sorry for disturbance, Bucho. Good job, you two, stated Rias. Yes, but a little late, added Sona. So what is the situation? We are in big trouble, Tsubaki informed her king. That caused both heiresses to narrow their eyes. With Naruto and Yuto. By using Sharingan to trace the holy energy, both boys arrived at a certain location. Yuto could easily recognize it as the place where they first killed the rogue devil with Issei. The devil was called Visor. Upon arriving at the place, Naruto felt a presence ahead of them, and raised his hand to stop Yuto from advancing forward. What's wrong, Naruto-san? Yuto asked the blonde. I felt two presences inside that place. One was very close to us, the other is currently inside the building, Naruto informed Yuto about enemy's location. Suddenly, a shadow descend fast at them. Naruto managed to warn Yuto in time to intercept enemy's attack. It was none other than Freed Selzen, a rogue exorcist that they hunting. Freed jumped back and landed at the top of the building. He has a psychotic look as usual. Oya oya, what are two little devils so late here? You two didn't hunting poor old me, right? Freed mocking them and stack out his tongue creepily. At the same time, Issei and Kaneko together with Saji arrived in time disguising themselves as saints. They were surprised that Naruto was there with Yuto. Naruto-san. What are doing here? Issei exclaimed. Then he looked up and saw the bastard that had hurt Asia badly. Freed. Bastard. Naruto turned his head to face them and deadpanned. I am the one that should ask that question. What are two doing here? This is none of your business. We want to help, Yuto-senpai retorted Kaneko with her soft voice. I didn't volunteer to come, but those two forced me to tag along, Saji accusing Issei and Kaneko. It doesn't matter now. We have the enemy up there. Prepare for the battle, Naruto ordered them, but he actually was the only one that stood in relaxed stance. 5 against little old me? That's a little much to handle, Freed said with fake concern, then laughed maniacally. Just joking. With my holy sword, I can cut you all to pieces. All the devils there felt unease at the sword. No mistake there that Freed was holding one of Excalibur. I am your only opponent, they will just stand aside to observe, declared Yuto, and charged at Freed with a sword in his hand. Both opponents began to clash swords with each other, and move very fast for the eyes of normal human to see. But Freed wasn't so simple either. He could easily keep up with Yuto. The others couldn't see anything because of their speed, but Naruto could see their movements with ease even without Sharingan. Kyuso. That Freed is actually keeping up with Kiba's speed, Issei cursed silently. If only we could slow him down a little. Slow down, you say? That I can do, replied Saji with a smile and activated his sacred gear, absorption line. It has the appearance of small black gauntlet that has the shape of chameleon head. Saji launched its tongue and wrapped around Freed's leg. Whoa! You also have sacred gear? You are really cool, Saji exclaimed Issei in awe. Freed was surprised at the sudden attack. He tried to cut that annoying rope with his holy sword but couldn't. Kyuso. Again those annoying dragons, Freed cursed. And it is even one of the dragons? That's so cool. Issei couldn't hide his excitement. All that time Issei is gathering dragon's power in his boost gear to transfer it to Yuto. Kaneko suddenly picked him up and threw him at Yuto with one word. Fly. Issei was sent flying to Yuto and transferred the dragon's power to him. Using the dragon energy given by Issei, Yuto used sword birth with intention to finish off Freed. Freed destroyed the swords created by sword birth desperately. Suddenly all of them heard a voice that was slowly heard from the entrance below. Sword birth, huh? A very rare sacred gear that in right hand could become a dangerous weapon. Freed looked down and saw a bald old man with glasses wearing saint clothes. Valper GG. At hearing that name, Yuto's eyes widen in rage and utters the name like a curse. Valper Galilei. So he is the one in charge of Holy Sword Project, Naruto muttered to himself, looking at the immoral archbishop. It seems you still didn't fully master how to wield a holy sword, Freed exclaimed Valper and looked up at Freed calmly. Then teach me how to do it right, demanded Freed. Just channel in the sword. That will make your attacks stronger, Valper instructed the rogue exorcist. Freed did as he was told and channeled his holy energy in the sword. The sword began to glow with golden energy surrounding it. I see. By channeling the holy energy in my sword, I can even cut that annoying rope, Freed said with a psychotic grin and cut down Lion's rope, easily surprising Saji. Now I will cut you down, brat. It's time for round 2. Freed charged at Yuto with impressive speed, but a kick blasted him away. Valper turned to see who had intervened and exclaimed, Ho? So you are the successful project of Ultimate Project. Never expect to see you here. Naruto narrowed his eyes at Valper and questioned him. You know about Ultimate Project? The others don't understand what those two are saying. Just as they about to ask more, Zenobia and Irina has arrived. It seems we are just in time, stated Zenobia, then turned to both rogue exorcists. Heretic Freed and Archbishop Valper Galilei. In the name of God, I will end you lives. Oh, 2 more bitches have appeared. No problem, I will cut you all down in instant with my sword, exclaimed Free Creepily and began to lick the edge of his word. But Valper refuted him though. We must retreat this time, we're sent here to deal with spies from church. But to deal with the wielder of holy swords and even ultimate. That is beyond us. I agree, Gigi. But what is that ultimate you are talking about? Before they left, he decided to ask that question. That, huh? Valper turned to look at Naruto with his sky grin, but nearly pissed his pants seeing a chilling look in Naruto's eyes. There were absolutely no emotions in those eyes. Eyes of unfeeling killing machine. I will tell you when we escape. Then Abayo. Freed shouted out with a crazy grin and threw a flash bomb that ninja often used to blind their enemies and escaped. Yuto and two holy sword wielders cursed and immediately chased after them. Suddenly a voice was heard behind them. Issei and Saji looking back and paled. From the two seals of teleportation, two heiresses comes out. You two are such naughty kids, Rias stated, and Akino was there with her. Maybe you two should explain about your actions? You too, Saji demands, Sona looking scarily at Saji. I don't want for Yuto-senpai to leave us, replied Kaneko with her usual soft voice and looked down a bit. Issei recalled there was one more person with them and exclaimed. What about Naruto Yura? He was in this mess too. At the reminding of Naruto, Rias looked up at the roof of the building where Naruto is currently standing. He stayed motionlessly like that since Valper spilled out about Ultimate. His eyes were shadowed by his front bang and the night breeze is blowing his hair dramatically. Just she was about to call out to him, Naruto used Kamui and suck himself in the space-time hole created by his eyes. What's wrong with Naruto? Wondered Rias looking concerned. He was like that after that geezer Valper spoke about some kind of ultimate project, answered Issei. Kaneko also found Naruto's behavior strange. She recalled the look that Naruto gave Valper. Even if it was not directly at her, just by gazing at them, she could feel shivers down her spine. Naruto was that terrifying to her that moment. Ultimate project? I am hearing it for the first time, stated Rias, trying to recall if she ever heard something like that. Rias suddenly embraced both Issei and Kaneko. Issei blushed slightly, being hugged by his bucho. He thought that all her attention will now focus on that emotionless Yuru, but it seems he still has a chance. Such naughty kids. Making me worry like that. Scene change. After that, to explain more about the situation, they entered the church there. After the explanation, Rias understood what is going on more or less. So Yuto is chasing Freed and Valper together with those two girls, right? And Naruto's location is unknown. But he probably is heading there as well, concluded Rias, sitting at the bench with her arms crossed as usual. Now time for punishment, Saji exclaimed Sona, and stood up, focusing her magic in her palm. Saji pleaded for forgiveness, but Sona ignored his plea. Then began to hit him with magic to his rear. Issei was about to think that something like that won't happen to him, because Bucho is very kind to her servants. Now Issei, you also turn around to receive your punishment. But Bucho, I thought you are kind towards your servants, reasoned Issei shakily. Gomen. But to punish naughty servants, that is the job of every masters after all, Rias replied with a smile. Honor Naruto. You know that this will happen and escape beforehand, right? Issei shouted out with tears of pain running down his eyes as he is being hit by Rias with magic as well. While everybody that saw that dark mood in Naruto that night, they thought that he was depressed and wanted his grieving in sorrow. In reality, Naruto did try to find those two rogue exorcists, but lost their traces. He even lost traces of Yuto and the girls. So what did he do? He decided to go to Akihabara to take his mind off from his past, that geezer Valper remind him. Man, where did that geezer come from that start to spill my past in front of my friend? Naruto muttered lazily and pressed the button that released a rocket at the monster on his screen. Naruto is playing a game where he is controlling a helicopter and shoots at the gigantic dinosaur. The dinosaur on the screen roared painfully as it being hit by a rocket. Naruto flew closer to the monster and used his secret weapon to shoot a laser from it, and completely obliterated the dinosaur. That was the last stage, so after the defeating of the dinosaur, an inscription with congratulations appeared. Behind Naruto were lots of teenagers that was observing while he was playing. They gathered there because of a single reason. None of them managed to clear the game, so seeing that there was someone skilled enough to win the game made them excite. Suga and Ai-chan. I've never seen anyone that manages to clear the game, exclaimed one boy behind Naruto. He has short red hair and brown eyes. Though right now there were stars shining in those eyes. Naruto turned around to look at the boy impassively and respond. That was not so hard like you guys thought. But you must have impressive reaction enough to predict where those monsters will appear. With that said, Naruto stood up and began to walk away with laid-back step. The other teenagers looked at him in wonder for a while and then turned to the game that Naruto has cleared and tried to clear the game. With Rias, after punishing Issei by giving him thousands of slaps to his rear, Rias decided to walk back to a cult clubroom. Suddenly a Gremry magic seal appeared in front of her, and she could see her brother astral projection in it. Oni-sama? Hello, Ria-tan. Guess what I decided to give you and Naruto-kun a surprise, said Surzex with a sing-song voice. And what is that? Rias wondered curiously. Surzex has a Cheshire grin on his face, and then his astral finger glowed and aimed a beam of magic to Rias' forehead. You go to the address that I embedded in your head and find out. Surzex informed her before his astral projection disappeared with a knowing grin. Rias blinked olishly, then shrugged her shoulders and headed to the direction where his brother pointed out in her head. It was not too far from school and actually very close to a forest nearby. When Rias has arrived, she gasped in surprise at the sight in front of her. Before her eyes was a huge house. The house has 2 floors and even a balcony. Curiously, Rias stepped in the house, then began to inspect each room. Rias blushed horribly when she reached the bedroom. No, there was nothing indecent there. There was just a king-size bed, but what made her blush was a piece of paper that lied on one of the cushions. Good luck with trying to seduce Naruto-kun, Ria-tan. I know that he is super ignorant and slightly dense, but don't give up on him. To encourage you, I am giving you this house for newlywed. And hope you will succeed. You dear Oni-sama. At the end of the note, there was a head of Chibi Surzex that was pumping his fist in the air. Rias tried to cover her face to shake out the embarrassment. Certainly, she knew that her Oni-sama or maybe even her parents knew of her infatuation with Naruto. But she never thought that they would make a move now. Talking about Naruto. Where is that idiot of a servant of hers? He might feel depressed after the meeting with those rogue exorcists. But at least he could call back to inform her. Tiredly, Rias fell in her new bed and sighed. Why the heck the boy she liked need to be like a block of ice? Maybe that has something to do with his past? If so, why didn't he share his story with her? Why just keep silent by yourself and act like it not bothered him? I could never understand what is going in Naruto's mind. Or why the heck, even if he didn't, trying the girls just drawn to him, like bees to honey. Rias wondered aimlessly as she looked at the ceiling of her new room. With Issei. Issei winced in pain from the punishment that Bucho has given him. He rubbed his rear to try to ease his pain and cursed our omnipotent blonde. Damn that Naruto Yura. I am sure that he knew that things will turn out that way and sneak away beforehand. Next time I am gonna drag and shot him to the sky, Issei mumbled and glaring forward as he recalled Naruto's always impassive face. But when he entered his home, all those thoughts about Naruto flew away like that never existed. Why? Because the one running to him in nothing but a white apron on her body was none other than Asia. Issei-san, you have returned, exclaimed Asia and happily approached Issei. Asia? Why are you wearing like that? It's not like it not suit you, but still why? Issei wondered with a huge blush and his grin slowly turned perversely. Edo Kiryu-san told me that men like to look at women in this, replied Asia softly, then twirled around. It was too much for Issei because when she twirled like that he could saw her nude rear. Blood began to shoot out from his nose at such erotic sight. Issei quickly covered his bleeding nose and wiped the blood away furiously. But you can't walk around at home like this. What will my mother say? Retorted Issei, but his eyes still staring at Asia's body. It's fine, Issei. I choose an apron for her after all, comes the voice of his mother. Ka-san! Issei exclaimed at shock. But what he saw next completely knocked him out. From behind his mother, Akino walked out with a sky grin. The reason why Issei was knocked out because, like Asia, Akino also wore an apron, but its color was light yellow with a cat image on it. Era, it seems Issei-kun couldn't handle my appearance when I am in only an apron, uttered Akino, blinking amusingly. Suddenly an idea formed in Akino's head. Ufufu. Maybe tomorrow I will show this to that impassive Naruto-kun to see how he will react. If I succeed to make him blush, I may as well claim him for myself. Akino then put her palm to her cheek and chuckled. Oh my! I am such a greedy woman. First Issei-kun and now Naruto-kun? But it will be interesting to see Bucho's reaction when I will tease Naruto-kun in this. Akino shook her naked rear with amusing laughter. Asia meanwhile tried to wake Issei up. Even Akino-san want to seduce Naruto-san. Why everybody try so hard to seduce him? Surely in look department Naruto-san is better, but she likes Issei-san because of his kindness and a desire to protect his friends with everything he got. And Naruto-san, she couldn't understand him at all. He rarely showed any emotion and didn't smile even once. He seems powerful but also lazy to the point of ditching school by hypnotizing teacher with magic. Then there is still that little bit of holy energy inside him. How did it got there? Why did he has it? Asia can't find the answer to any of those questions. She looked down at Issei and saw that even unconscious his face slowly turned lecherously. No doubt he is dreaming about her and Akino in their aprons and serving him as maids. Next day at Ko Academy. Both Naruto and Yuto were still absent. Tired of waiting them for any longer, Rias decided to send her familiars in search for both boys. The girls of Ko began to complain about Naruto's absence. Surely he was not present in school much, but when he was presented they often ogle him from the distance. They won't dare to approach him closer because they heard that Rias Onishima was overprotective about him. They suspect that both were in relationship, but nothing can confirm just yet, with Naruto. After he left Akihabara, Naruto was about to return back home, but then he thought about a pissed-off face of his Oju-sama and reconsider his decision. Sooner or later he will be scolded by that troublesome woman. He chooses later then. Naruto is a heavy gamer, so when he found about Xbox 360 he couldn't took his eyes away from it. Therefore he booked himself a room and played games all night. Naruto rubbed his eyes and yawned tiredly. Then he looks at the clock. Right now is 10 a.m. Naruto rubbed his temples and sighed. Ah, Mataku! I am already late to school. Now I will receive not just from Oju-sama, but from Sonakaishu as well. Naruto drowsily stood up and glared playfully at his PlayStation. It's your entire fault. It's funny to see a teenager accuse the video game while he was the one at fault. I need to return to school either way, mumbled Naruto and head to the bathroom to do a daily routine. Scene change. Some time later, one of Rias' familiar found a beaten Irina and immediately contacted her master. When Rias and her peerage, minus Yuto and Naruto, arrived, they were shocked that Irina was not just being beaten but her clothes has been torn to reveal her as well. Sona, Tsubaki and Saki tagged along as well. Issei picked up her body and asked Irina, "Who did that to you? Where is Zenovia and Kiba or Naruto? If they are in a different situation then he would no doubt ogle her wonderful. But it is not time for that." Irina looked at Issei with half-lit eyes and replied weakly. His strength was really fearsome. I couldn't escape, but Zenovia and Kiba-san managed to escape. Irina began to wince in pain from her wounds. Asia! Rias called out to her bishop. Asia knows what she need to do, so she quickly activated Twilight Healing and began to heal Irina. Don't worry, Irina-san. I will heal you, Asia reassured the chestnut girl. Who could injure the wielder of Holy Sword to that extent? Sona wondered and adjusted her glasses. It's not good. Twilight Healing can't replenish the stolen holy energy in her, exclaimed Asia worriedly. Sona turned to Tsubaki to order her. Tsubaki! You took her back to heal her. We have some magic that can replenish energy. Hi, Kaicho! With that, Tsubaki teleported away via magic circle with Irina. Suddenly all of them felt a very uneasy feeling and a slight shiver run down their spine. This feeling, muttered Issei unpleasantly. Jayahaha! I knew that you filthy devils will took the bait. Fried comes out behind a tree with a mad grin as usual. Fried! Issei shouted in rage at the sight of a rogue exorcist again. Fried noticed a familiar figure, then cocked his head and leered at Asia with a crazy grin. Oya oya! Isn't it our dear traitorous Asia here? Asia saw Fried leered at her creepily and hid under Issei to hide herself from Fried's gaze. So how do you feel after becoming a filthy devil, huh? Fried crazily and glared at Asia. Suddenly both Rias and Soma jumped forward to confront Fried. Enough! I won't let you insult my servants any further! Exclaimed Rias and prepared to unleash her power of destruction. Sona also stood in line with Rias and preparing her own spell. Wait! I want to discuss something. Fried waves his hands to suspend both Eris actions, then grinned madly. More precisely, my boss wanted to talk with you too. Just as they were about to wonder of what Fried had said, the sky started to darken and change to a blinking purple. All the present looked up and saw a fallen angel floating above them. But that was not just any fallen angel. The figure has a very pale skin for a fallen angel. He has crimson glowing eyes with yellow irises and pointy ears. Most of his clothes were jet black. But the most noticeable feature was 10 black wings behind him. Yes, this is one of the leaders of Grigori, Kokobile. The crew has different reactions looking at the newly arrived fallen angel. A fallen angel? Kaneko muttered and looked at the mentioned one expressionlessly. Yeah. He has 10 wings. No doubt, Thesis, one of the leaders of Grigori, Kokobile, Rias concluded and looked up at Kokobile cautiously. Kokobile looked down from his position at Rias and exclaimed, Well, it seems I don't need to introduce myself anymore, daughter of Gremory. What are you doing here, fallen angel leader? Rias asked, but she already guessed the answer. What beautiful crimson hair! You look just like your brother Surzex, Crimson Satan. Just a thought about him make me sick, Kokobile scoffed as he recalled the image of that brat. Why are you here? Rias is not in the mood to listen to this pointy-ears lunatic. I am here for some fun, of course. Kokobile grinned widely, showing his sharp teeth. He then noticed someone was missing. That someone was the reason why her decided to approach Rias after all. Where is your ultimate, Rias Gremory? Who? Rias narrowed her eyes in confusion. Issei and Kaneko were also interested to find out. Because this is the second time that they have heard that term. The others just like Rias looking at each other with questionable gaze at each other. Kokobile began to cackle madly, seeing their confused faces. Bugagaga. You didn't even know about the true nature of your invincible knight? True nature? Rias muttered and narrowing her eyes, still staring at Kokobile. But I can't blame you for not knowing about that. After all, the Maos have made his identity a top secret in Underworld, revealed Kokobile, and grinned widely at their still confused face. Tell me about Naruto's identity, Rias demanded rather loudly and forcefully. Yes, she wanted to know that badly. Oya. You want to know that badly? Alright, I will reveal it to you, but not here. I would like to look around Ko Academy. It is your HQ, right? Kokobile cocked his head and smirked arrogantly. Then he added something that made them all gasp in horror. If I am gonna bear the shit out of you all, then Surzex will appear, right? Not only that, but that even that ultimate will appear. Yes, a very grand party will start it. Ha! But if that happens, then one more war will happen between God, fallen angels and devils. Rias realized what Kokobile trying to achieve. I was disappointed when Michael sent only an old geezer and 2 girls with holy swords. That was not enough. Far from enough, growled Kokobile angrily. So you want to cause a new war, am I right? Rias deduced and narrowing her eyes. That's right. Devils and fallen angels were always on the brink of war. They just need one more push to make it happen. Kokobile grinned madly, then added. But this time I will let you devils started that war. Rias Gremory and Sona Citri. Both of you are respective sisters of your older mouse siblings. That means there are enough of magical energy to cause a ruckus and chaos. It will be the ideal place to start a war. Ha! You are a lunatic! Exclaimed Issei loudly and glared at Kokobile while activated his boost gear. Kokobile looked down at boost gear disinterestedly and stated, Your sacred gear seems like an interesting stuff. But I don't have any interest in it. Azazel is obsessed with them. When it comes to his collections, he is always acting like a child and try his best to find the rarest for his research. Azazel, the supreme leader of fallen angels? Wondered Saji. So is he involved in this as well? Asked Issei. No. Both Azazel and Shemhaza didn't want for this war to happen. Those idiots! I have enough of listening to their peace trash talk, screamed Kokobile furiously. Didn't my boss such a crazy bastard? Freed but in with a crazy grin. He even generous enough to give me these gifts. Freed opened his saint coat to reveal 2 more holy swords were strapped to his coat. He has 3 holy swords now, Issei exclaimed, sweating a bit. Of course, I can use them all. I am awesome like that. Freed took out a cloth with a knowing grin and added, oh, but the bonus is this Excalibur mimic that I took from that pigtails girl. The cloth then morphed to a sword. So the one that beat Irina was you? Demanded Issei furiously. That's right, you lowly devil. Freed stuck out his tongue at Issei. Enough chit-chat. Time to start a war, sister of Surzex and sister of Seraphal, proclaimed Kokobile and sent a fairly large light spear at them. Rias countered the spear with her blast of power of destruction. The clashes between 2 powers negate each other. Ha! Now we are talking, exclaimed Kokobile in satisfaction and flew to the direction of Ko Academy. Issei noticed that Freed has gone as well. Where the heck is Naruto when you need him the most? Besides, no matter what, I will find out about what Kokobile is implying, Rias said determinedly. We must protect Ko Academy at all costs. That Kokobile is toying with us for now. The fallen angel of his caliber could easily destroy this city without breaking a sweat, said Sona, and then looked to Rias. Will you call your brother? Rias also looked back at Sona and answered her question with the other question. What about you? Will you call your sister? Sona looked away and shook her head. My sister is your brother loves you. He will act. I am sure about that. Rias stayed silent and then activated a teleportation magic. I want to hear about Naruto's identity first. That was Rias' words before she teleported herself to Ko Academy. The rest followed her action. None of them noticed that Naruto was present standing far away on the roof of a random house. He arrived in time to see Kokubile appeared, but decided to observe from aside. Now let's see what you and your peerage can do against the enemy of Toothy-kun caliber. Ojisama Naruto bites his sandwich and muttered to himself. The moment he looked at Kokubile, two nicknames immediately appeared in his head. Toothy-kun or Fallen Elf-kun. At Ko Academy. To contain the damage, Sona ordered her peerage to create a barrier. She and her peerage will maintain the barrier while Rias will deal with Kokubile inside. We still have time, Rias. Contact your brother for help, please. Sona asked Rias one more time, but Rias shook her head and replied stubbornly. I will deal with this problem myself. No need to involve an Ayasama in this when he is so busy in Underworld. I am sorry, Bucho said Akino apologetically. I've already contacted Surzex-sama. Akino? I didn't ask you to do that, retorted Rias, narrowing her eyes. But he said that there will be someone that will take care of Kokubile instead of him. Akino informed them about Surzek's message. They were all confused about that. Rias is thinking that her Oni-sama is talking about Naruto. But that is just absurd. Even if Naruto is strong, there is no way he is strong enough to take care of one of Grigori's leader by himself. That fact just revealed how much strength Naruto is hiding from her. With Naruto decided to not use his Kamui to appear at Ko, but to run there while buying some snacks on the way. When he was about some meters from reaching Ko, suddenly a seal of Gremory appeared and showed an astral mini version of Surzex. If you called me, then I guess you are already aware about current situation, right? Surzex-sama, Naruto asked the Mao. Yeah. That's why I want you to take care of that problem in my stead, Naruto-kun replied Surzex in his astral form. Okay, agreed Naruto, and was about to end their contact, but Surzex added. Today you can go wild. There is no point in hiding who you are anymore. Sooner or later everybody will find out. It will only be a matter of time. So go and rampage as much as you want. Show him the power of ultimate, Naruto-kun. Naruto smirked slightly and nodded his head. If permission grant, then I will gonna a bit wild. Even if I may attract a bit of individuals around the world. It would be worth. Surzex laughed loudly before he ends their contact. He might also observe Naruto's battle in Underworld. He then wonders how Naruto will react when he find out about his stunt with a new house. Just the thought already made Surzex barely holding back his laughter. He sure is one hell of a prankster. Naruto rubbed his palms together and grinned slightly. It's time to break some Toothy-kun's wings, any? Naruto used Kamui and sucked himself in the time-space hole. Finally, he will be able to test his sacred gear on someone except Surzex. But it will be a disappointment if Toothy-kun can't meet up to his expectation. Elsewhere, the man, which was Issei's client, looked out to horizon with a fishing rod in his hand and muttered, it seems something very interesting will happen. The man turned back to see a handsome young man with slightly spiky silver hair stood there with his hands crossed. Right, Vala? The man addressed to the young man that stood behind him with a knowing grin. The young man didn't reply but just staring at the man in front of him silently. Ko Academy. There is still no sight of Yuto or Zenobia. Suddenly they all felt a huge amount of holy energy coming from the side of sports ground. A huge pillar of light was shoot to the sky. Valper is planning to combine 4 fragments of Excalibur into one. Beside him Fried is looking at the forming swords with anticipation. But that holy energy was also the magic of high-scale destruction. Kokubile is indeed trying to erase the city. Naruto decided to not act for the time being. He needs to see for himself what that Toothy-kun capable of first. Besides, this will be a really useful practice for Issei and Kaneko. That amount of holy energy certainly attracted attention of both Yuto and Zenobia. So they immediately head there. Meanwhile, Kokubile became arrogant enough to bring his throne and watched at them from below like a king. Well, now who is coming? Surzex? Seraphal? Perhaps Ultimate? Rias is extremely impatient now. That is the 3rd time he used that term. We will take care of you by yourself. Now, as promised, tell me what is so secretive about Naruto's identity. What is Ultimate? Rias demanding with fury in her eyes. Kokubile sighed in disappointment as none of the ones he has looked for will show up. He snapped his fingers and materialized a huge spear, then sent to the gym and completely obliterating it. Issei was a little shocked and scared at the demonstration of power. He never saw a light spear that big before. Are you scared, Ibu? This is the strength of the one that fought in the previous war and survived to this day, exclaimed Drake in boost gear. If neither of them want to come out yet, then I will just draw them out by killing all of you. But you all not worth my attention. Kokobeel snapped his fingers again, and a beam shoot down from his throne and revealed 3 huge dogs with 3 heads each. Try to entertain my pets at least. He then looked down at Rias Exceptional and grinned. You want to know about Ultimate that bad? Alright, have you defeated my pets? I may as well tell you, Rias Gremory. These are Cerberus, the guardians of Hellgate, stated Aquino, and changed to her Miko battle form and prepared for battle. Issei, Aquino, Kaneko, prepare for battle. Asia, you stay behind to heal our injuries. Issei, try to enhance as much power as you can with boost gear, commanded Rias. And so the battle has started. Naruto, that was still observing, noticed 2 energies coming this way. It was Yuto and Zenovia. Naruto sighed when Kokobeel is trying to piss off Ojusama by stalling the time to reveal his secret. That Toothy-kun sure is mouthful. But he will fix that when the time will come. At least he will let Ojusama's peerage gain some battle experience. While Rias and her peerage is trying to defeat Cerberus's, Kokobeel just looking down at them in amusement. Somehow the idea of these weaklings' struggles against his pet made him amuse. He wonders though why the heck neither Cerzex nor Cedarfall is here yet, or even that Ultimate. Are they really that confident that Crimson Hair Little Lady will be enough to stop him? Just thinking about that made Kokobeel scoff. Yeah, right, these weaklings couldn't even kill his pets. While the Cerberus are shooting flames from their jaws, Aquino used her lightning to electrocute them. Kaneko used her super strength to crush the one she is fighting. Rias is fighting together with Aquino by shooting beams of destruction. But still one was left, and right now is heading to Asia. Asia screamed in horror and closed her eyes tightly. A sound of something being slashed was heard. Asia opened her eyes to see Zenovia slash Cerberus in half in midair. I came to help, said Zenovia with a smirk, and ran on the roof to destroy the other Cerberus. Right now, I am glad that she is on our side, stated Rias, smiling slightly as she looks at Zenovia splitting the second Cerberus in half. Yeah. Holy swords caused huge damages to hell creatures after all, agreed Aquino. Issei is storing up power which was enhanced by boost gear. Suddenly boost gear glowed brightly, and showed a dragon mark in the gem. What is this mark? I've never seen it appear before? Issei wondered and looked down at his sacred gear. That mark means that you've reached the maximum energy that you could boost, replied Drake. What? I am hearing that for the first time? As you become stronger, I am also evolving to take one step closer in granting your wish. Issei smiled satisfyingly, then looked at his king, and Aquino shouted. Bucho! Aquino-san! I am ready! Both turned and smirked satisfyingly. You are just in time, Issei! Exclaimed Rias. Then she and Aquino flew lower for Issei to reach them. Good job, Issei-kun, praised Aquino. Boost gear! Gift, exclaimed Issei, and touched both of them to transfer the powers. Transfer. Feeling so much power was transferred in them at once made them both fluster and screamed in ecstasy. Both of them were covered in jade aura of dragon power. Take this? Roar! Lightning. Aquino unleashed her lightning, and with Issei's power up the attack become really impressive. But that was not enough to defeat the last Cerberus. Seeing the result of Issei's new possibility, Zenovia exclaimed in interested. You can do something like that? Very impressive, Hyodo Issei. The remained Cerberus is stalking at Asia, but Yuto appeared in time, then used Sword Birth to kill it. Seeing all of his pets being destroyed made Kokobeel excite slightly. Especially he find out one interesting information. Sensing a crimson beam coming his way, Kokobeel raised his right hand and deflected away with no so much difficulty. How interesting, the wielder of Welsh Dragon can not only power up himself but the others as well. Kokobeel grinned amusingly, and looking down at Issei. Now tell me about Naruto's identity, as you promised. We have defeated your pets, demanded Rias impatiently. Issei felt a little jealous hearing Bucho wants to find out something about that Yuru so badly. Sure, he understands that they are childhood friends, but still. That didn't make him like it. You sure an impatient lady, Rias Gremory? Stated Kokobeel, amused at Rias' glare at him. But a deal is a deal. Rias gulped and prepared for the truth that Naruto and her brother has hidden from her for so long. Kokobeel grinned widely and began to talk. Your ultimate was a human before he was turned to what he is now. He was an orphan, you know. Though he was a child, he was far brilliant than any others. One day, 2 yokais came and massacred the whole city that he lived. Rias and the others gasped in horror. He was an orphan and the whole city was massacred. None of them could understand what Naruto felt that day. Kokobeel grinned wider and continued. But for some reason they left him alive. Then do you know what happened next? They experimented on him for the whole year, and then injected their blood in him. Normally a human would die from that, but that boy survived and his eyes began to mutate. Rias clutched her fists tightly, hearing Naruto's nightmarish past. She didn't know any of that, and seeing how he usually acts, you can't tell that he has gone through hell. Kokobil's became even more malicious and wider. But that was not the most interesting part. One of them was so power-hungry that he tricked the other to be sealed in the boy's eyes. But even that was not enough to him. So what did he do next? He forced the boy to consume 5,000 souls of different races to make him an ultimate weapon. Kokobil began to cackle madly and licks his lips by a mere thought of Naruto's power. Rias widens her eyes and gasped in horror, but she covered her mouth with her right hand. Her tears slowly started to pour down from her eyes. How can someone have such a horrible past, and yet he still act like everything is fine? The rest was silent as well. Naruto's past is more horrible than all of them combined. Coughing a little to calm himself down, Kokobil continued, surely with such powers, a mere 8 years old couldn't handle it. So to remain sane, he forcefully discards all those emotions that will make him become insane. In other words, such strong emotions that you humans and devils have, such as love, lust, hatred, embarrassment, shame, etc. None of that present in him. That is the price of becoming ultimate. A being with godly powers but practically no emotions. Kokobil then grinned madly and exclaimed, "Isn't he a perfect killing machine, eh? By the way, ultimate was created for one goal. That is to overthrow God and Maus." I didn't know any of that. Didn't know of Naruto's horrible past? He didn't feel lust or love, not because he is suppressing them. It's because he can't feel them at all. Rias came to realization about Naruto's behavior. Tears slowly fall down from her beautiful jade eyes. To live and can't feel love. That is a fate worse than death. The others looked down at the ground solemnly at the revelation of Naruto's cruel fate. It means that the most he could feel for a girl is caring about her. That is such a cruel fate. So how do you feel that your most powerful servant is an unfeeling machine, huh? You understand, right? That ultimate is more of a monster than any of us here. Kokobil taunted Rias with arrogant grin. Hearing that caused Rias to widen her eyes in pure rage. She opened her palm and unleashed a powerful beam of destruction at Kokobil. Don't you dare call Naruto a monster in front of me. Kokobil struggled a bit when deflecting the beam. He was a little surprised seeing how much power Rias unleashed in that attack. Outside the barrier, Naruto is standing on one of the roof and observed the battle. He saw how Yuto and Zenovia had arrived, then finished off those dogs. He sighed as he saw that Toothy-kun kept his mouth shut and began to spill about his past. Somehow after hearing his past, the peerage moods became darker. Then he saw Kokobil taunted his Oja-sama, which pissed her off greatly. Let's see, should I appear now? Or wait a bit later? Naruto muttered to himself. Suddenly Naruto saw someone appeared on the opposite side of the barrier. He whistled and exclaimed, "Oh ho!" Hakuruka also decided to appear. But it seems he is only here to observe. Opposite of him was the young man with slightly spiky silver hair. He has a stoic expression. But the most noticeable thing were those shining energy wings of his. With Valper and freed, the huge pillar of light slowly died down to reveal only a single sword in the center of magic circle. Valper Halilii has a huge satisfying grin on his face. Finally, the ultimate Excalibur is born, exclaimed Valper and spread his arms widely. Valper Galilei! Exclaimed Yuto and glared daggers at the Archbishop. Heretics freed Selzen and Valper Galilei. Today you two will pay for your sins, Zenovia declared and point Excalibur destruction at two rogue exorcists. Valper glanced at Yuto, then to Zenovia from the corner of his eyes and exclaimed, "Ah, the wielder of sword birth and that girl exorcist, but you two are too late. We have already finished diffusion of Excaliburs." When the pillar of light completely disappeared, Freed began to approach to newly formed sword and picked it up. "Hello, my newly created Excalibur. Let's show this trashes our power, any?" Freed took a hold at the newly created Excalibur and grinned madly. Valper, already seen how much they become distracted hearing about Naruto's past, decided to add something that completely pissed them off. Kokobil-sama already told you about that boy's past, right? But I will add something. Valper's grin became more insane. He is my product. It's true that those two yokais help in his creation. But all theory behind his creation is mine. Who do you think created those contains that could contain souls, huh? Only I capable of that. And I succeed. The ultimate was born. Ha ha. Yuto recalled the conversation with Naruto. Then the past that was revealed by Kokobil. And now he find out that the mastermind behind all that nightmarish past is the same bastard that has ruined his life. Valper, bastard! I will never forgive you. You ruined not only my life but Naruto-san's as well. I will not satisfy until I kill you with my own hands," declared Yuto and glared with so much hatred in his eyes. "Then come, trash. I will take you on taunt freed with a come-on motion. I will avenge my friends. That's the reason why I was revived as a devil," Yuto shouted and charged at Freed. But Kokubile won't just stand aside there and doesn't act. Faster than Rias and her peerage could realize, he threw a lightning spear at Yuto with impressive speed. Yuto could only turn aside and anticipated for the attack to hit him. But from a distance a purple astral hand caught the spear and crushed it into pieces. Everybody slowly turned to the direction of the source of that hand. "Kiba-san! You were careless. Do you really think that Toothy-kun out there will let you attack his subordinates so freely?" The voice was calm and laid back as usual. Naruto stood there, enveloped himself with Susanoo ribcage and a hand extend from it. "Naruto/Naruto-san/Naruto-kun!" exclaimed his allies. Naruto released his Susanoo and began to walk to them calmly. "Yo! What's up?" Everybody that knows him sweat dropped. Naruto will always be Naruto, stays calm to the last. "Where have you been, Naruto?" demanded Rias, slightly angry. Her eyes are being covered by her locks. Naruto blinked, then tried to recall a very helpful excuse that he found out recently. He snapped his fingers when he recalled it. "Edo, I got lost on the road of life?" Everybody faced fault and thought at the same time. What kind of lame excuse is that? Rias slowly approached Naruto and demanded softly. Did what Kokubile told us about your past true, Naruto?" Of course, Naruto tried to avoid the question, so he replied. "That can wait. Now Oju-sama, please stand aside. I will take care of Toothy-kun from now." Rias looked up at Naruto with different emotions in her eyes. Pity, confusion, and grief. "Just answer yes or no." Naruto sighed and nodded his head. All what that Toothy-kun said over there is true. Then he began to approach Kokubile and looked up at him. Rias bit her lips tightly at his answer. Why the heck Naruto act like it did not matter to him? Is he only acting to suppress his pain? "Yo, Toothy-kun! I heard you was waiting for me? So here I am." "Toothy-kun?" Kokubile has a tick mark in his forehead. "Cheeky brat. I will kill you painfully and slowly." Naruto just smirked and raised his hands up, confusing Kokubile. "I call time out for now." Naruto glanced back to Yuto and nodded his head. "Let Kiba-san settles his score with that crazy geezer that not only ruined my life, but his too." Naruto turned back up to Kokubile. "Is that okay with you?" Kokubile shrugged his shoulders indifferently. "I came here to fight you and start a war. At least I will grant you a last wish before your death." "I appreciate that," retorted Naruto with a slight grin. And so he turned to observe the battle of Yuto and Zenovia. Valper decided to completely destroy Yuto's psychologic condition, began to slowly approach him with a mad grin. "I've one more project, forgot to remind you. After realizing that you useless subjects won't ever be able to use Holy Sword because you all don't have enough genes, I just extracted them all and crystallized them." Yuto widened his eyes in horror hearing that. Valper took out a shining blue crystal and tosses to the ground in front of Yuto. "This is the last of them, though. You hypocrites exiled me and yet you still use my project for your gains." Zenovia recognized it, as every time the exorcist received a blessing those things were put in their body. Not she realized for what. Slowly Yuto picked up the crystal, hold dear to his chest. The souls of his friends were all in these crystals. Suddenly the souls began to materialize outside. "Kiba-san, you have managed to free your friends with your feelings to them," exclaimed Naruto impassively. The girls looked at Naruto and wondered what he is feeling right now. Because that bastard archbishop had ruined his life as well. The souls of Yuto's friends told them that they never blame him even once. Then they proclaimed that from now on they will always be with him. Their souls slowly merged with Yuto and create a powerful energy enveloped Yuto's body. "That night finally achieves it," said Drake. "Achieve what?" wondered Issei, but the one that answered that question was Naruto. "He manages to evolve his sacred gear with the help of his friends to a level rival, that of Balance Breaker," Naruto explained to them, crossed hands. "Sorry, Minasan, I am gonna skip Yuto's victory over those two rogue exorcists for Naruto's fight." Both rogue exorcists were defeated and lied unconscious at the ground now. Kokubile looked down at Naruto with bloodthirsty grin and exclaimed, "Now ultimate. Let's start our party." Just as Naruto about to advance, Rias stopped him. "Naruto, this is one of the leaders of Grigori. You can't expect us to let you fight him alone. We will fight him together." Bucho is right, Naruto-kun. You are strong, but you are not strong enough to take him just yet, added Akino. The others nodded their head as well. Naruto looked at all of them and replied, I am touched by your concerns. Not want to be rude to any of you. But none of you know about my level. The others flinched slightly hearing his statement. Naruto ignored them all and began to approach Kokubil. He knows that what he did was rude and harsh, but he just need for them to stay away from this battle. Now show me the power of your eyes, ultimate! Exclaimed Kokubil in excitement, and float up to reveal his 10 jet black wings. Eh? Toothy-kun wants to see my Sharingan? Naruto exclaimed in mock surprise. Nah. But I will show you something interesting on par with that. Kokubil cocked his head when he heard the brat claim that he will bring out something interesting. Really? Then bring it out then. Naruto smirked coldly at Kokubil and warned. Okay, let it be your way. But don't regret your decision, ne Toothy-kun? Kokubil feels annoyed at the brat called him his stupid nickname again. Issei giggled each time Naruto called the leader of Grigori that. Asia laughed softly while covering her mouth as well. Rias looked at Naruto and smiled. His presence sure changed everyone's mood really fast. She can't wait to see Naruto's true power with her own eyes. Naruto touched the gem on his chakra, closed his eyes and began to chant. In the name of Abyss, I release you from this seal. Slowly a dark energy began to emanate from the gem on his chakra. The currents of winds began to gather around Naruto's body, creating a mini twister around him. Naruto extends his right hand aside and the energy began to change shape to a sword in his right hand. It was a big rectangular-shaped sword, but the tip looks like a pincer. Naruto is holding Blaster Dark Sword. I don't need to spill out what is his balance breaker, right? That is obvious after all. But the change didn't end there. Naruto's black highlight began to replace his Goldilocks, and his hair became longer, reaching to his back. Naruto's hair was covered by the dark energy coming from the sword. The twin bangs is flapping because of the harsh wind. The back is floating up as well. Naruto slowly opened his sky blue eyes dramatically and pointed his sword at Kokubil. Shall we begin? The girls blushed horribly at Naruto's new appearance. Sure, they thought that Naruto is hot already as he is. But this is just mind-blowing for them. Right now he looked dark and mysterious. Oh my! Naruto-kun, just as I thought that you can't possibly become hotter. You completely blown my mind with that appearance. Exclaimed Akino, blushing madly while touching her cheek and licked her lips hungrily, drinking up Naruto's new look. Rias is blushing horribly as well. But so many things happened today, making her speechless. But Rias already decided for herself that no matter what, Naruto will remain by her side forever. There definitely must be a way to return his emotions back to him. And Rias won't stop until she find it. Zenobia stared at Naruto with a huge blush and thought, when I decide to give birth, then Naruto will be a perfect person to help me. Yes, after all, he is not a devil. Even if he can't love me, he will take good care of me. That is satisfying enough for someone that doesn't know much about love like me. And Naruto-san looked so Asia realized her current thoughts and shook her head furiously. Bad Asia, you like Issei-san. Yes, Asia likes Issei-san. Naruto-senpai, if Kuroko-nisama was here, she will no doubt want to claim you. She wants to revive our race after all. And you are the perfect mate for her, stated Kaneko, and tried to shake off the blush on her face. Kaneko won't ever in million years will admit that the sight in front of her also smitten her heart. But interesting enough, the girls from Rias Peerage were not the only one that witnessed Naruto's new appearance. In the underworld, Grafia, that was standing beside Surzax observing the battle through an observation spell, also can't contain her blush. Surzax, seeing that, just chuckled amusingly. Ada, Naruto-kun's new appearance not only captivate Rias and other girls, but my dear wife as well? How interesting. Really interesting. Grafia was about to smack her husband but decided to stop. He was right, after all, she was smitten by Naruto's new look. But not only Naruto's new look attract attentions. The dark sword itself began to resonate. The sword, it can't be, stuttered Drake. What's wrong, Drake? What is that sword? Issei looked at his boost gear and asked. His boost gear is glowing green, resonating with dark energy of Naruto's sword. The young man with silver hair also felt his energy wings is emanating blue energy to resonate with dark energy bellow. What the heck is that sword? Muttered Vala. Elsewhere, a young man with blonde hair with a single braid put on his shoulder wearing glasses suddenly stopped, feeling his sword is shaking and releasing holy energy. What is going on, Kalbran? Elsewhere, a young man with dark hair felt his spear shook and grinned widely. It seems someone interesting has appeared. I can't wait to meet him. Back to Ko Academy, everyone is waiting the answer from Drake. They all want to know that what the heck is that sword that resonate with powerful sacred gears and holy swords. Zenobia also felt the resonance through her Durandal. I never expect to see that sword, because everyone thought it was a mere myth. That sword that boy is holding is called the Lost One. It is a forbidden sacred gear that could destroy other sacred gears. And its name is Soul Annihilator, or otherwise known as the Ruler of Fears. One more name is the Purgatory Blade of Illusion. Kokuten Drake revealed what Naruto's sacred gear is. Everybody gaped in awe and shock. Naruto have a sacred gear that could destroy the other sacred gears. That's just unbelievable. Even Kokubile began to sweat nervously at the appearance of Kokuten. He also thought that was a mere myth, after all. Because there were informations about that sword, but nobody ever see it with their own eyes. Naruto looked up at Kokubile and exclaimed, "What's wrong? Too much for you or to shock that you can't utter a word?" Kokubile was about to launch his attack at Naruto, but suddenly saw him disappeared. Before that he only saw a black mist cover Naruto, and he was gone. "Where are you come out, coward? Didn't you want to fight?" Meanwhile, the others felt confused because Naruto is still standing where he is, but why Kokubile can't see him? "What's going Drake? Why can't Kokubile see Naruto, but we can Issei asked his sacred gear?" "That is because that boy just used fear to distort the vision of Kokubile. We could see him because he allowed that," replied Drake. "Fear? What is that? Is that why that called the Ruler of Fears?" wondered Rias. "You guess right, Rias Gremory. Fear is alternate energy that often used for illusions. Whoever became the wielder of that sword became the ultimate illusionist," explained Drake. Naruto flowed up calmly to Kokubile and slashed at his midsection. Only by battle experience of many battles in the war, Kokubile managed to dodge that slash. Naruto decided to make himself visible to Kokubile once again because fighting like that is not fun at all. "How did you do that? What kind of sorcery was that?" demanded Kokubile, panicking. "Oh, that? Just my technique. It's called Maikyushire's way. It used fear to distort your vision so that I will only appear in your blind spot. That means that I could kill you and you won't even know about it," explained Naruto with a careless look. "But that won't be fun at all. So I decided to cancel the technique." Kokubile gritted his teeth in anger. This brat isn't even taking him seriously. He treated this battle like a mere game. "I will make you regret that you didn't kill me when you got a chance, brat." With that, Kokubile created to light sword and charges at Naruto. Naruto remained calm and stood still. Suddenly he felt his body being bisected from the waist down. "Bye-bye. So much for ultimate," Kokubile exclaimed and grinned evilly. Everybody saw Naruto being bisected in half from the waist and gasped in horror. "Naruto!" Rias screamed out in horror with tears falling down her cheeks. Surzex observed the battle with Kokubile though an observation spell. He witnessed how Naruto unsealed his sacred gear, Soul Annihilator, and began to recall how he was the first one that saw the sword with his own eyes. Flashback 6 years ago at the back of Gremory Castle. There were sounds of swords clash and explosions at the training ground at the back of Gremory Castle. All those noises were created by two individuals. They were Surzex Lucifer, former Gremory, and a 10-year-old Naruto with his Sharingan blazing. Both of them were standing at a fair distance against each other. "What's wrong, Naruto-kun? Didn't you the one that said you will become Ria's strongest piece to protect her from all threats? With the current strength you won't be able to defeat enemies of ultimate class," exclaimed Surzex with aura of power of destruction covering him. Naruto didn't reply him back and rushed forward, EMSs blazing in his sockets, with Susanoo ribcage that grew a hand and attempted to punch Surzex. Surzex easily used his power of destruction and obliterate Susanoo's hand. Naruto twitched his mouth in slight frustration and opened his left eye wider to direct its gaze at Surzex. Amaterasu. Surzex was about to annihilate the black flames with his power, but the flames suddenly moved around him, alarmed the Mao greatly. Kagutsuchi. That was the word he heard Naruto proclaim before he was surrounded by the dome made from flames of Amaterasu. "It seems you've become a little serious, Naruto-kun. Then so will I," Surzex muttered and began to raise his magic power. But Surzex slightly raised his power a little too high, and the aura of power of destruction was about to consume little Naruto as well. "Naruto-kun! Move out of the way!" Surzex shouted in horror and tried to warn Naruto before too late. But Surzex's destruction aura moved a little too fast for a 10-year-old Naruto to avoid. When the aura hits its target, Surzex widened his eyes in horror and fall to his knees. He thought that accidentally he has killed Naruto. He sighed out in relief when he could still feel Naruto's life force. But his jaw dropped to the ground when the dust was cleared. Before little Naruto, a dark sword appeared. It has a rectangular shape and the tip looks like a pincer. There were some green glowing lines on the edge of the sword. But how? Why? This sword should be a myth. It was not supposed to exist. Surzex muttered and shook his head in disbelief. That was because in front of him was the lost sacred gear, Soul Annihilator, or otherwise known as Purgatory Blade of Illusion, Kokuten. End flashback. He was so lost in his memory that he has skipped near the whole battle between Naruto and Kokubile. Well, that can't be calling a battle actually. Naruto didn't even counterattack Kokubile even once. Suddenly he narrowed his eyes when he saw Naruto let himself be bisected in half. Certainly, after that a loud scream of Rias was heard as well as a gasp from his wife that stood beside him and observing the battle as well. Academy Kokubile grinned victoriously as he saw Naruto's both half of the body are floating in the air. He failed to notice that both half didn't bleed. Rias' sobbing believed that Naruto was dead. But a voice from the direction of both Naruto's half was heard. Zure, Toothy-kun, a playful voice was heard from Naruto's mouth. You never even warned me before attacking. That just too dirty, don't you think? Everybody that was present in Dome began to gasp. They still see that Naruto was split in half. Then how the heck can he talk? Is he really immortal? I don't understand anything. Naruto should be dead. He was cut in half. So how the heck can he still talk? Issei shook his head in confusion. He didn't understand what is going on anymore. Yeah. How the heck can it be possible? Kaneko agreed with Issei with a nod of her head. Yuto though turned to look at Naruto and stated, well, I am sure Naruto-san will explain the situation right away. Rias cleared her tears then glared at Naruto's still calm face even if he was bisected in half. He better do it. That jerk. How dare he scared me, I mean us, to death like that. Rias quickly corrected her slip and crossed her hands under her bosom like usual with a huff. Zenobia and Akino are also looking for the explanation in anticipation. The moment they saw Naruto was cut in half, their heart really did stop for some seconds. Kokubile glared daggers at Naruto's upper body in demand. Now explain that. Everybody is waiting in anticipation. Explain to everybody else how you survived my attack. Naruto smirked, and a cloud of black smoke appeared out of nowhere enveloped Naruto. When it cleared, Naruto could be seen safe and sound. It's like he was never been bisected before that. Everyone's eyes bulged seeing that. What the heck is going on? That was on everybody's mind right now. Simple really, Toothy-kun. Your attack never reached me. That is why I am still alive. And about what you all have seen. That was nothing but an afterimage created by my fear. This is my other technique called Kyoka Sujetsu, Naruto explained to them and stabbed Kokuten to the ground and intertwined his fingers and put his palms on the handle. Kyoka Sujetsu? Yuto repeated the name of the technique. You must be so cocky to even let your enemy knows about your technique. Full of arrogance, just like that brat, Surzex Lucifer. Kokubile glared at Naruto and spat Surzex's name like a curse. Even if you knew about the technique, you still can't do anything about that, replied Naruto and shook his head. We will see about that, brat, exclaimed Kokubile and charges again at Naruto with his light swords. This time he even unleashed all his 10 wings and also created light senbons from them and fired at Naruto. Madara, replied Naruto calmly and let all the senbons hit him. The senbons raised the black smoke in Naruto's body again. Kokubile charged at Naruto and slashed him furiously with gritted teeth. Naruto never moved from his position and just closed his eyes to take in all Kokubile's attacks. I am like the reflection of moon on the surface of the water right now. Even if you try to reach it, you will never be able to catch it. It will waver and in the end slips out from your hands. Shug, muttered Issei in awe and jealousy as well. Didn't I tell you before, Iba? The wielder of Kokuten is the most powerful illusionist in existence. Unless that fallen angel could find a way to cut through his fear, he will never manage to injure him. Drake decided to butt in. That means that in order to injure Naruto, I need to cut through that fear of his? Issei stated with narrowing eyes gazing at Naruto's black smoke. That's right. But that's not all Kokuten is capable of, added Drake seriously. Kokubile has divided Naruto to pieces of black smoke and panting heavily. He thought that maybe now that brat will die for sure. But to his annoyance the smoke began to gather together, and Naruto was reformed again with the same state he was before that. Naruto opened his eyes and staring boredly at Kokubile. Didn't I tell you before, Toothy-kun? Attacking me is useless. You can't hurt me while I am in this state. But Naruto raised his sword and slashed at Kokubile unexpectedly. Kokubile didn't expect for Naruto to suddenly attack since he was unmoved the whole time. Kokubile could only raise his right hand instinctively to counter Naruto's attack. The attack slashed at Kokubile's wrist. But Kokubile felt nothing. No pain or wound. But he felt something missing. He glanced down at his wrist and seized that it was still there. But for some reason he couldn't felt it at all. Kokubile glared daggers at Naruto and demanded, "What the heck did you do?" Those around them looked down confused at what Kokubile is implying. "I don't understand anything. I saw that Naruto-san's attack hits the target. But why is there no wound or even traces of slash from his sword on Kokubile's body? And why Kokubile reacted like that? What the heck is going on here?" Zenobia stated and become even more confused with Naruto's sacred gear power. "Can you explain that to us, Drake?" Issei looked down at his sacred gear and requested an explanation. The others are also waiting for the answer. "That is the reason why that sword was called Soul Annihilator. The attacks from that boy's sacred gear didn't cause physical damages to the body, but it deals spiritual damages by damaging the target's soul," Drake explained with serious tone. All presents from Rias Peerage widens their eyes at Naruto's sacred gear ability. A sacred gear that didn't target the enemy's body, but their soul. The reason why that sword was called forbidden is because with that ability the boy could kill even us, heavenly dragons, by destroying the sacred gear and as such destroying our souls within. What a fearsome sacred gear. No, to be more precisely, what a fearsome person that Naruto is. Just his eyes' powers he is already near invincible, but with Kokuten he was indeed became invincible. A fitting nickname he has. Invincible Knight, stated Drake to himself mostly. A being that could kill him and Albion, if he desired that. That Naruto surely is the most threat to him and Albion right now. It's a relief that he is loyal to Rias Gremory. Did it mean that Naruto-san could even kill God with that blade? Zenobia wondered incredulously. Now I see why he was called Invincible Knight, and even being proclaimed the most powerful knight in the history, Rias muttered and looked at Naruto's back while he is facing Kokubile. Little by little, but some things began to clear to her about Naruto. Kokubile is trembling right now. That boy could kill him with a slash of his sword. He won't feel pain or agony. Nothing actually, but it will be like sleeping for eternity. You died yet you may not even know that you've died. That is truly fearsome. If you are this powerful, ultimate, why served Rias Gremory? I know. Join my side. I could give you anything. Women, money, power, anything. Kokubile began to plead Naruto with hesitation eyes. Anything you say? Hearing that piqued Naruto's interest. He blinked and then began to tap his chin with his index in thought. Yes, anything. Kokubile nodded his head rapidly. Rias looked on the scene in silent amusement. She knew that Naruto is just playing around. She didn't have any doubt that Naruto will ever betray her. Still, looking at Kokubile's hopeful expression is amusing. Sure, she knew that he is just fooling around, but what comes out from his mouth next made not even her but all those present's jaw drop to the ground. I want to make my Ojusama my personal sex slave. Can you do that, Toothy-kun? Requested Naruto with a straight face. Huh! Kokubile exclaimed with his eyes bulged like dinner plates. After hearing Naruto's request, Ria's face resembled a tomato now. Damn that knight of hers that has no shame. Who the heck joking like that? Issei is holding his bleeding nose from such fantasy about Bucho. Sure, he is still glaring daggers at Naruto for suggesting something like that. But he couldn't deny the brilliant idea in his mind. Akino is licking her lips suggestively and hungrily. Era, that Naruto-kun sure has a dirty mind. But knowing him it is only. Why the heck such silence? It was a joke, geez. A simple joke. Naruto smirked amusingly, and waving his hand to dismiss his previous idea. I knew that both Rias and Akino thought simultaneously, sweat dropping. Though Rias blushed still yet to die down. Issei face fault and slammed himself to the ground while shouted with comical tears. Honor! Naruto Yura! Yodo sighed and smiled amusingly. He should have expected that Naruto will joke like that. That was just a joke. Kokubile uttered, trembling in silent rage slightly. He looked up at Naruto with so much fury in his eyes. Forget about his ridiculous suggestion earlier. He will tear this cocky son of a to pieces. But at first he needs to reveal something that will weaken their spirits, especially to that blonde nun and blue-haired exorcist. But before that he needs to taunt them a little. So he looks down at Rias and begins to talk. Rias Gremory, you sure like to collect junks like your brother, eh? Rias narrowed her eyes and shot back. I won't let you insult my bro or Mao and my servants like that. Ho? And what can you do? Always hiding behind the back of that ultimate brat. Without him, you and your peerage is a useless bunch of trash. Kokabille purposely insult Rias and her peerage to provoke them to attack him. With that, the ultimate should be forced to defense to protect his master. Hearing that caused not only Rias, but the whole peerage minus Naruto and Asia to widen their eyes in a huge amount of rage. They are all young inexperienced devils and couldn't control their emotions well enough. Naruto was about to stop them, but noticed that it will be useless as they are being consumed by rage right now. First to react was Akino and Rias. They released their wings, then flew up to face Kokabille and shoots their attacks at him. Kokabille dismissed both attacks easily but leered at Akino and taunted. Is that all you got, the wielder of Barraquill's power? Hearing that name just made Akino more pissed off. She began to concentrate a huge amount of magic on her next lighting attack. Don't you dare associate me with that name. Naruto narrowed his eyes hearing Barraquill's name. A fallen angel that I had encountered on my travel. Akino-san has some connection to him? Boost. 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 Issei is boosting his power with boost gear. He created a red ball of magic in his left hand and punched it to release a red beam that aiming at Kokabille. Dragon shot. Kokabille shielded himself with his wings and deflects Akino's lighting back at her before that. Luckily for her, Naruto appeared before her and dismissed the attack with Kokuten. Akino looked gratefully at Naruto's bask for saving her. Arigato, Naruto-kun. Be careful and don't let your rage blind you again, Akino-san stated, Naruto coolly not turning back to face her. Normally Akino would fume as he didn't even turn around to face her. But after finding out about his nightmarish past, she could understand a bit how Naruto acts. He always remains calm, cool and careless. Not bad, Sekiryu implied Kokabille and suddenly felt a presence on his right. He created a light sword and clashed blades with Zenobia. But he still managed to overpower her and kicked her to the ground. Now time for some revelation. I am surprised that you could still fight while your master is dead. Oops, slip of tongue. I shouldn't have tell you that. Kokabille slipped on purpose to further confuse Zenobia. Zenobia narrowed her eyes and demanded, What are you implying? Kokabille grinned evilly and said, Well, I am about to start a war, so there is no reason to hide about it anymore. Kokabille grinned wickedly and continued, Listen well. In the previous war, not only the original Maos have died but God as well. Everybody's eyes were widened in shock except for Naruto, which only narrowed his eyes in suspicion. But the ones that were shocked the most are none other than Zenobia and Asia. The two of them have believed in him the most after all. What? Whispered Zenobia in disbelief. You are lying. Something like that could never happen. Rias tried to deny the fact, but she didn't seem so convincible. I am telling the truth, filthy devils. Whether you believe it or not, that is reality. The leaders of 3 factions did try their best to keep this information in secret, exclaimed Kokabille. But I can still feel his love. Even now, retort Asia softly, trying her hardest to stay conscious. The fact that she found out that God was dead did made a heavy blow to her psychologically. Michael did his job great to replace God. Even if God was dead, the system that he created is still there, Kokabille explained with a grin. So Archangel Michael-sama is replacing God? That's impossible. Zenobia shook her head and tried to deny the truth. Then explain this to me, Kokabille-san. Why did Naruto-san has a bit of holy energy in him that exactly like that of God? Asia is breathing heavily, but she could at least will find out about what she wanted to find out since she met Naruto. It took her a while, but she started to recall the holy energy of God when she first met him as a kid. And Naruto's holy energy was really similar to his. Everybody's eyes widened in shock, except Asia and Kokabille. Yes, even Naruto himself was shocked about revelation. The holy energy that resided him was from God. Kokabille grinned widely and praised Asia. As expected of the one that believed in God, even when he had perished. Asia never took her eyes from Kokabille, even if his evil aura frightens her horribly. But she needs to find out the truth. The others are waiting for the explanation as well. Too much shocking information for one day, and all of them involve Naruto. It's just as the nun deducted. The holy energy that resides in Ultimate is indeed of a god. But only those that has the strongest belief in God or those that saw him personally could feel that energy. God was indeed died. However, before that he gave his final blessing along with inputting the remains of his holy energy in the blessing to the one that has the kind heart, with the strongest will to life. As Kokabille explained, he turned to look at Naruto to imply about who he was talking about. As you can see, the one that received the final blessing is that ultimate. You could call him a pseudo-god. Everybody turned their gaze at Naruto in shock. Naruto is a pseudo-god. His power is not enough to give blessings, but still the fact remains that God's holy energy is residing within him. Naruto-san is God? Does that mean I should serve him from now on? Zenobia wondered with her eyes widened, still shocked about all those revelations. Her mind is in turmoil now. So much has happened today. I see. Naruto-san's holy energy comes from God's final blessing. Asia taking in that information and finally collapsed from the stress. Asia! Exclaimed Issei in worry and rushed to her side. Meanwhile, Naruto has some thoughts of his own. Naruhodo, now that was the reason why I still remained alive after the Tengu's blood infusion. All pieces finally connect together. That means indirectly, but that geezer responsible in creation of me. It's such an irony that the avatar of God is serving the heiress of Gremory, yet alone has smitten her mind. Akino thought, and smiled amusingly, covering her mouth with the sleeve of her Miko outfit. Naruto is God. Naruto is God. Naruto is God. Rias repeated that sentence in trance like hundreds of times. Her mind was completely blown by that revelation. Now that all surprises are over, I think it's time to annihilate all of you from the face of this planet, proclaimed Kokobile with an insane grin, and flew up high and began to concentrate a huge holy energy in both his palms. Rias and her peerage minus Naruto could only look on in utter shock, as a huge spear of light began to appear in Kokobile's hand, and it is still expanding. Even Sona, that is holding the barrier, start to worry about Rias seeing the spear of that size. Rias, be careful, Soma thought, and hoped that her friend would be okay. Outside the barrier, Vala was about to act, but he saw Naruto's index pointing at his location and began to shake, like to say for him to not get involved. Vala narrowed his eyes displeasingly, but decided to observe to the end, within the barrier. Naruto stood in a stance and also began to concentrate a huge amount of magic energy to the tip of Kokuten. Slowly a dark sphere of energy started to appear as well as expand in size. Everybody, get as far away as possible, Naruto warned and prepared to unleash his attack. Kiero! Bryanak! Shouted Kokobile in glee and threw his enormous light spear bellow and hoped to obliterate everything around. As the huge spear began to descend, Naruto decided to unleash his own attack to counter Kokobile's Bryanak. Disappear within the space of the void. Thanatos punishment! Screamed Naruto, and the dark sphere on the tip of Kokun was shot at Bryanak and transformed into a dark beam. The winds started to rise up like crazy. Those around began to cover their face to protect themselves from harsh wind. The clash between both techniques was so great that creates a shockwave to shatter the barrier, along with the Earthbreaker spell created by the combination of 4 fragments of Excalibur's. Vala still floating with the help of his sacred gear and looking at the clash of both techniques. Vala's presence immediate caught the attention of Issei. Who is he? Why the heck I am shivering at a mere sight of him? Wondered Issei and shivered instinctively. So the White One decided to show up? Drake thought within boost gear. The jade gem is glowing, like wanting to alert Vala about his presence. Vala felt his wings pulsed a bit and looked down at Issei bellow. He is the cause of Albion unusual behavior. Finally we met again after such a long time, Red One Albion thought, and the blue energy from Vala's wings began to shine a bit brighter. Both attacks fought for domination, but the one who won was Naruto. Thanatos' punishment overpowered Bryanak and hits full force at Kokobile. If it's not for Vala's interference to get him out of the way, Kokobile should been completely annihilated right now. I have orders to act if you've gone too far. But it seems it wasn't necessary. Vala looked down at Naruto with eyes full of interest. But I was ordered to intervene and return you back. You are a disgusting but still is one of fallen angels' leader. After all, Vala is holding the unconscious Kokobile to his ruff. Who are you? Are you here to help Kokobile? Demanded Rias, staring at Vala. No, I am not with him. But I have ordered to bring him back alive, replied Vala, and was about to leave. But the voice bellow stopped him. Are you ignoring me, White One? Drake addressed to Vala's shining wings. The wings start to blip and a voice was heard from them. We will talk another time, Red One. After all, it's still too early for our fight. Just that Vala fled from bringing Kokobile with him. Issei looked up at Vala's leaving figure and wondered. Who was that, Drake? Your destined enemy, Vanishing Dragon Albion, answered Drake, which alarmed Issei greatly. Aftermath. Sona and her peerage also decided to join Rias and her peerage. Sona went there mostly to scold Naruto about ditching school yet again. Naruto-san, I believe this is the first time we meet face-to-face, Sona greeted the blonde politely. Indeed it is, Sona Kaisha. Naruto bowed his head respectfully. And where have you been since yesterday, Mr. Pseudo-God? Rias glared at him and replied sarcastically. Yes. I'd like to know that as well, Naruto-san. Why did you not present at school yesterday? Sona demanded, and adjusting her glasses. Meanwhile, Issei and Saji are giggling at the corner. Finally, that pretty boy will receive some punishment, or even twice of it. But Naruto sure as hell won't just stay there after he just saves their asses and the whole city from destruction. Gomen, but I forgot my new Xbox 360 at the hotel, retorted Naruto. Hi. Rias blinked in confusion, then noticed Naruto was already being warped away via Kamui. Both Rias and Sona's eyes twitched, and they shouted together. Come back at once, Naruto. The rest is laughing in amusement. Naruto will always be Naruto. Calm and cool in most situations, but even he is not crazy enough to endure the fury from two furious women. Rias and Naruto's household nighttime. The moon shone pretty bright tonight. Naruto is looking out at the window with a certain thought in his mind. He turned his gaze back to the ceiling and began to wander in thought. How the heck my life becomes even more complicated after that fight. I never asked for this. I just want to play video games and eat roast foods all day, Naruto complained with a twitch on his forehead. He turned his gaze at his wrists that was raised up at the moment. But they were like that not because Naruto did that. It was because he was strapped to the head of the bed with a magical cuff. But that's not all. On top of him, slept a very naked and satisfied Rias. She has a smile on her face even now. It is seemingly normal, as she did that daily. No, the difference is that on his right lies Akino in her birthday suit as well, which is snuggling to his right side. The problem didn't end there, because on his left, Zenobia is napping soundly as well. He is thankful for her to at least sleep in underwear. But this girl is still pressing on him in bit tight. Naruto sighed again and began to recall how it all began. It started when he decided to return to his usual place at a cult club room. Flashback: Ko Academy outside of ORC. After escaping from Rias and Sona, Naruto returned to his hotel room and took his Xbox 360 with him. Now he is standing in front the door of ORC. He bit his lower lip and thought. Let's get this over with. Sooner or later I must confront her. It's not like I can avoid her forever. Can I? With a sigh, Naruto opened the door and certainly saw Rias is sitting at her seat. Akino is drinking her tea with closed eyes. Kaneko as usual is eating snacks and reading manga. Yudo, Issei and Asia are talking to themselves. When Naruto entered they all turned their gaze at him. Oju-sama, I am here, uttered Naruto. I see that. Do you really afraid punishment that much, Naruto? Rias asked and leered at Naruto with cool gaze. Era, Bucho. You remember that Naruto-kun is pseudo-god, right? Akino reminded Rias with an amused smile. I don't care about that. He swore his elegance to me. Therefore he is my servant, retorted Rias, and crossed her hands under her bosom. Her gaze never left Naruto. She narrowed her eyes slightly and demanded. Why did you not tell me about being ultimate? I know that information was a top secret. But I am your master, surely you could make an exception. Naruto looked impassively at her jade eyes and retorted. No, I can't do that. Even if you are my master, I can't told you the top secret. I am a being that should never exist. Also, if I told you about that, what will you do with that information? Of course, I will keep it to myself, exclaimed Rias instantly. Naruto looked deadpan at his Oju-sama and pressed. Really? I recall the time when Surzek-sama wanted to sneak out from his paperwork, and you accidentally spotted him. He asked you to keep that a secret. And what did you do? The others looked on and interested. It's rare that some fact of their Bucho's childhood will be revealed. Rias blushed in embarrassment and shouted out. All right, you win. I can't keep secrets. Satisfied? Naruto just smirked, satisfying, which annoyed Rias even more. The others whined disappointingly as they wanted to hear the continuation of that story. Naruto then looked at each of them and decided to ask. So after finding out about my past, what do you all think about me? Naruto didn't need their pity, he just wanted to know their opinion. It won't matter to him if they will hate him or not. Because even without words he knows himself that he is a monster. My opinion about you didn't change, Naruto-kun. You will always be a cool, super hot and the most desirable man in my eyes, replied Akino with a beautiful and a bit lusty smile. She still couldn't take her mind of the image of Naruto after he released Kokuten. Naruto-senpai is Naruto-senpai. Even if he is a god or something else, I didn't think anything less about you, replied Kaneko expressionlessly. Yeah. You may be a jerk and always steal girls' attentions from me like a certain pretty boy. But I don't care about you being god or ultimate or anything else. Because I will beat the shit out of you and make all the girls mine, declared Issei with a light glare and pointing at Naruto with his index challengingly. Naruto blinked in surprise and amusement. Even after seeing his abilities and find out his identities, Issei still wants to fight him. Naruto smiles at the pervert and exclaims, "That's why I am saying that you are interesting, harem kudai. You truly deserve to be called Sekiryutai." Issei blinked questionably and stared at the blonde in confusion. He just declares that he will kick that jerk ass, but he praised him? Issei shook his head and sighed. That Naruto sure is super strange. Naruto then turned his gaze at the one that was responsible about him being revealed as pseudo-god. He is looking at waiting Asia's opinion. Asia felt his gaze and felt a bit uncomfortable. Sure, he is not the same god that she knew when she was a child. But Naruto still held God's holy energy in him, thus making him God. No, I think that Naruto-san is Naruto-san. You are Rias Bucho's strongest piece and my friend, replied Asia with her soft voice and looking at Naruto with kindly. I am glad that God did not really died. He is living inside of you, Naruto-san. Knowing that you didn't consider me a heretic and a witch means a lot to me. You are God now after all. Ria stood up from her seat and began to approach Naruto elegantly. When she reached him, she embraced him to the neck and shoved his face to her bosom. Issei is crying tears of jealousy while Kaneko looked at the pervert senpai with deadpan gaze. Akino is looking at the scene curiously. Silly Naruto. If you think that after finding out about your horrible past that I will hate you, you are strongly mistaken. You are my precious knight. One that knows me maybe even better than I myself. Such trivial things are not enough to make me abandon you, Rias whispering with soft sweet voice as she is caressing Naruto's Goldilocks. Arigato, Oju-sama, Min and Naruto whispered back, still being smashed to Rias' bosom. Yudo didn't say anything as he knew even without words Naruto knew what he will say. Both of them have far more in common than he previously think. Both of them were victims of inhuman experiments. Both life were ruined by the same person. But Yudo admit that Naruto is far stronger than him. Not just in terms of skills, but of spirit as well. But Yudo still managed to reunite with his friends, but Naruto had lost his emotions forever. Both were popular with girls. But Yudo could fall in love with someone if she was right for him. Naruto, on the other hand, the most he could do is care for her. He won't be able to love anyone emotionally, and it is really strange that knowing that fact, Rias and other girls didn't give up on him. On the opposite, they will try to smother him even more with affections in hope for his emotions to return to him. Suddenly they heard a knock to the door. Rias released Naruto to turn the door and said, "You can come in." The door opened and Zenobia walked in. Upon seeing Naruto, she immediately hurriedly approached him and kneeled down. I am sorry for being late, Naruto-sama. Everybody began to look at Zenobia strangely and thought Naruto-sama. Naruto sighed and turned his gaze down at Zenobia and stated, first, you don't need to kneel in front of me. Second, what the heck is that sama crap? I am not your superior here. Zenobia turned her gaze and looked incredulous at pseudo-god. What are you talking about, Naruto-sama? Even if you are not the original god, but you still have some of his powers. That's enough for you being my superior. And I am here to serve you. I don't know the reason why you are serving Rias Gremory, but if that's what you desire then I don't mind. I've decided to serve you on my own will, Naruto-sama. This is not Michael-sama's order or the church. Naruto began to pinch the bridge of his nose in exasperation. Great, one more troublesome girl in his life. But he feels this is only the start. As things go on it will be even more complicated from now on. So you are here to join Oju-sama's peerage? Zenobia nodded in affirmative and replied yes. I've already joined Rias Bucho's peerage as a rook. Zenobia released her devil wings, shocking Issei and Asia. Her first intention is to reincarnate me as knight, but as she already has 2 knights. She reincarnated me as a rook. With the strength of a rook, I will be able to control Durandal more easily. I am glad that you will join us, Zenobia-san, exclaimed Asia softly, greeting the brunette. Zenobia turned to Asia and felt bad for what she said to her. How could she said something so horrible to such a kind, pure heart like Asia? Zenobia looked hesitantly at the former nun and uttered, I am really sorry for what I have told you, Asia. I shouldn't say something like that. Later I will ask for Naruto-sama to punish me to atone for my mistake. Naruto's sweat dropped and thought to himself, she really took the role of being my servant seriously. Gah! Why the heck my life can't be normal for once? Curse you, God! Naruto paused and then blinked rapidly. But I am the god now. It means I am cursing myself? It's final. I am going insane. Why the heck I even rid those emotions then? Ah no, I actually already forgotten about that. So you should do too. We are friends now, exclaimed Asia with a kind smile. Zenobia smiled gratefully at the blonde girl and replied back. You are so kind, Asia. I am glad that you accept me as your friend. Nez Zenobia? Issei remembered something and decided to ask. Zenobia turned to Issei waiting for the question. What about Irina? Where is she now? Zenobia looked out to the window and answered Irina still didn't know that Naruto-sama is pseudo-god. We decided to not reveal her about that information just yet. But she finds out that the original god has died. Irina is not like me. Her faith in God is far stronger than me. She chose to remain with the church. I see, muttered Issei and sighed in relief that his childhood friend is okay. After that everybody left the clubroom, but Rias told Naruto to remain so she could inform him something. Naruto! You stay here, I have something to tell you, exclaimed Rias addressing Naruto. Naruto nodded his head and went to seat at the sofa. What do you want to tell me, Oja-sama? Rias sat next to him, then looked mischievously and said, Did you know that Oniai-sama built us a household not far from here? Eh? Rias' grin became devious and she added, You know what is more interesting? The household was built specifically for newlywed. Do you know what that means? Naruto began to sweat and blinked his eyes rapidly. Oh shit! He never expected for Surzek-sama to prank him like that. Wait, Oja-sama. We are not married. Why did Surzek-sama gave us that house then? Retorted Naruto. Who knows? Rias replied with mischievous suggestive eyes. And then when it's time to sleep, Rias dragged Naruto to the collar with a naughty grin. Zenobia demanded for Rias to release Naruto-sama. She said that even if she is his master she should still respect him as he is pseudo-god after all. Of course, Rias didn't give a damn about that. Akino decided to tag with them to observe Rias and Naruto's new house. She looked at the scene really amused seeing how Rias is dragging a poor Naruto to his collar. The funny thing is that he is a pseudo-god and ultimate as well. A being of the highest caliber, and yet he was bossed around by a girl. Akino admit that Naruto sure is a unique being. He didn't try to woo girls and yet they were attracted to him. She was one of them. Naruto is an enigma with a unique personality. She wanted to find out more about him. She, like Rias, also believed that there should be a way to return his feelings to him. That's why she's still clinging to that possibility, and maybe because of that she didn't give up to pursue him just yet. Both Zenobia and Akino looked amused as Rias input magic to the cuff and cuffed him to the head of the bed. Naruto, even in that state, still looked as calm as usual. He just looked deadpanned at the red head and demanded, What is the meaning of this? Rias looked mischievous at her knight and replied, It's so that you won't try to escape in the morning. After she said that, Rias started to strip with a wide smile and glommed Naruto. He perky are pushing against his chest. She buried her face to Naruto's torso and taken his scent. Naruto rolled his eyes at the typical behavior of his Oja-sama. Then he turned his gaze deadpanned at the raven and brunette beauty. Don't tell me you two will join us as well? That's obviously. As your servant, I am expected to sleep next to you to protect you, Naruto-sama, replied Zenobia and stripped to her underwear and lied to Naruto's left and snuggled at his left side while looking and smiled at him. Guess I will join you all there. Normally I slept at Issei-kun's house, but tonight I will stay here, replied Akino mischievously, and began to strip naked. I would appreciate if you actually returned to that pervert. It will be one less troublesome woman to deal with, Naruto deadpan, which caused Akino to blink in surprise. Then she laughed softly and exclaimed, You are the first male that is pushing me away, Naruto-kun. You just made me even more curious about you. Therefore I will stay here to research more about you. Akino approached and lied to his right, then snuggled to his right side. Good night, Naruto-kun / Naruto-sama, said both girls and did something bold. They both kissed his cheeks simultaneously and blinked in surprise. Both giggled softly to themselves before decided to sleep. Naruto felt the kisses on his cheeks and blinked at the foreign feeling. If his hands weren't cuffed, he may as well rub his cheeks to feel up that foreign feeling. That was strange. But not unpleasant, mumbled Naruto before he closed his eyes and fall asleep. End flashback. Next, Eiko Academy. Issei's class. Issei is sitting in his seat and still complained to himself why Akino-san didn't come to him yesterday. He suspected that she was with that Naruto team previous night. Damn that pretty boy to hell. He exceeds him in all aspects. Looks, skills, coolness, and that jerk didn't even trying. Issei began to cry comically and asked himself why God is so unfair. Then he remembered who is God right now and cursed Naruto's name again and again. Suddenly, while daydreaming, he received two unexpected punches to the face. What the hell? Shouted Issei and glared ahead and saw his friends, which are part of pervert trio. Motohama! Matsuda! What the hell was that for? Don't try to play innocent, Issei. The newly exchanged student Zenovia also joined the ORC, remarked Motohama and pointed at Issei. How the heck is that my fault? Demanded Issei, rolling his eyes. Don't know, but it's so suspicious that there are far too many attractive girls around you. You still yet put your hands on Zenovia, right? Demanded Matsuda with blazing eyes. Issei turned to Zenovia and saw that she was talking with Kiryu and Asia about something. Forget it. You two won't have a chance with her, stated Issei simply. And why is that? Motohama and narrowed his eyes under his glasses. The girl has completely devoted himself to Naruto team. Nani? Shouted Motohama and Matsuda furiously. How dare that pretty boy steal girls again? Did it not enough that nearly all the girls of Ko Academy are crazy about him? Meanwhile, Kiryu, Zenovia and Asia have discussion of their own. Alright. I will ask this question and I want for you both to answer me truthfully. Okay? Both foreign girls nodded their head. Who is your crush? Asked Kiryu with a mischievous grin and adjusted her glasses. Hearing that question, made Asia instinctively looked at Issei and blushed horribly. Zenovia, though, didn't blush, but was deep in thought. Well? Kiryu tapping her feet in anticipation. My crush is Issei-san, whispered Asia with a huge blush on her face. Heh? I should expect that, replied Kiryu with a knowing smirk. Then she turned to Zenovia. And what about you? A crush, eh? Well, I am not really sure, but I guess I am crushing on Naruto-sama, replied Zenovia with a nod. Oh ho. Good choice. But you know that Rias from ORC is very protective of him, right? There were even rumors that they are in relationship, or may even be betrothed to each other, Kiryu warned Zenovia. I am Naruto-sama's servant, and I decided to dedicate my life to protect him. Even Riasbucho can't force me to leave his side, retorted Zenovia. Oh? I didn't know that you and Naruto-kun are in such kinky relationship, exclaimed Kiryu with a slight nosebleed, and her glasses sparkled up. Huh. I didn't know what you are talking about. But you sure misunderstand about that, refutes Zenovia, shaking her head. That moment a door opened and everybody turned to it. A figure stepped in the class. At seeing the figure, the boys began to seethe in disdain, while the girls have hearts in their eyes. Naruto walked in Issei's class, then approached Zenovia and Asia. Zenovia bowed her head down respectfully while Asia just nodded her head to acknowledge him. Asia-san, Zenovia-san, Ojisama told me that we are gonna clean the swimming pool after class. Please tell this back to Hyoto-san as well, stated Naruto, ignoring all the lusty looks around. I understand, Naruto-sama, replied Zenovia with a nod. Naruto nodded his head and walked out of the class. Oh my god! He is so hot, and yet cool at the same time. I wish I could strap him to bed and fuck his brain out, exclaimed Kiryu lustfully, and even started to drool. Zenovia looked at the girl weirdly, and while Asia laughed awkwardly at her. After school swimming pool, Rias and her peerage stood in front of a swimming pool. Rias turned to the other and announced. The student council has asked us to clean this pool. So let's show them what the servants of Rias Gremory can do. And after that we can use it our likings, added Rias with a wide grin. Yosha! Shouted Issei full of enthusiasm. Part of the reason is that he will see Bucho, Akino-san, Asia and Zenovia in bikini. Understood, Naruto replied lazily, and raised his right hand in acknowledgement. And so they all went to lockers to change their clothes. They all simply wear shorts with white t-shirt, a typical Japanese school sport outfit. The pool was really dirty, because it's been a while since it was cleaned. While cleaning, Issei's right hand suddenly showed a sign of transforming to boost gear. He gripped his left hand and closed one of his eyes. Again. This is really annoying, stated Issei. Your left hand showed the sign of transformation because it was resonated with Kokuten and the appearance of that white one, also the coarse drag, explained to his partner. Are you alright, Issei? Asked Rias and approached him in concern. My left hand is transforming again, Bucho. Then should I do yes usual and sucking all dragonic energy from your left hand, Issei-kun? Akino inquired, looking at Issei. Yes please, Akino-san. Issei nodded his head rapidly. The last time she did that to him turned him on really much. But Naruto decided to butt in. Actually, I can seal off that energy away if you let me. Issei glared at Naruto for his intrusion and for trying to offer the alternative option. He never asked for his help. Naruto blinked questionably and wondered why Issei is glaring at him. He just offers his help, that's all. Then maybe Naruto should suggested Rias, but Issei refused instantly. No. There is no guarantee that his method will work. I prefer Akino-san's way of doing. Rias sighed and turned to Akino. It can't be helped. If he refused Naruto's method, then you should do as usual, Akino. Hi, Bucho. Akino turned to Issei and said, let's go, Issei-kun. The rest started cleaning the pool. With Issei and Akino. Issei sat on the seat and gulped nervously. Akino looked at him playful and leaned in on his index finger on the left hand and started to suck erotically on it. Issei moaned loudly. Akino looked amusedly at Issei and circling her tongue around his finger. Suddenly she stood up and said, There, Issei-kun. I took care of your problem. Thank you, Akino-san, replied Issei, then decided to ask something. You were with Naruto last night, right, Akino-san? Akino opened her mouth and then closed again. Usually she slept with Issei, but yesterday she decided to stay at Rias and Naruto's new household. What can she say to justify her absence? I was there to check on Bucho and Naruto-kun's new house. But when it's time to return, it was already too late, reasoned Akino. If you want, you would have returned to my home. I understood I can't compare with Naruto. He exceeds me in anything, stated Issei dejectedly. Akino felt bad for him, but she can't deny the fact that she is being drawn to Naruto. That moment Rias decided to butt in. What is taking you two so long? Nothing. We are coming right away. Bucho. Issei shook his head and stood up and walked out. Akino looked at him in pity. Rias turned to Akino and demanded, Did something happen? He figured out that I slept at your house yesterday, Akino stated with a slightly guilty smile. Rias looked a little concerned for her. It's not Akino's fault for attracting to Naruto. She herself didn't know why she was attracted to him. Looks aside, for some reason Naruto unconsciously has drawn all the girls to him with his laid-back personality. Sometime later. After cleaning the pool, Rias and the rest decided to enjoy it. The girls changed to their bikinis and the boys to swim trunks. Akino raised her hand up and cast a water spell to fill up the pool. Issei and Asia looked on in awe as the queen filled up such a huge pool with ease. Issei is ogling the girls in the bikinis. Whatever reason that made him felt down, vaporized like it never existed. Right now looking at these girls is his greatest satisfaction. Just as Naruto about to jump in the pool, someone tapped his shoulder, which caused him to turn and faced whoever was that. That was Rias in her milky white bikini. What do you think about my bikini, Naruto? To show all herself to him, Rias spun around with a smile. You look gorgeous, Oju-sama. Have always been and always will be, Naruto complimented her with a light smile. Hearing his compliment, and his smile made Rias beamed in happiness. She was a little disappointed that Naruto didn't ogle her. But that is understandable. This is Naruto after all. No matter how attractive a female will look, she still won't be able to smitten his mind or waver his heart. What about me, Naruto-kun? Akino glommed him from behind with a mischievous expression. Rias, seeing that, began to twitch her eye in annoyance and jealousy. Naruto turned to face Akino and saw her wearing a dark purple bikini with red lines. The top was held by a ring which revealed the lower part of her. Both she-devils also began to ogle Naruto's chiseled body. They marveled at every inch of his body. Naruto's muscles was defined and were not bulged like bodybuilders. His body is more resembled to the body of an athlete. But most noticeable thing on his body were the marks of syringe. They were all the results of former experiments on him. Rias and Akino couldn't help but narrowed their eyes at those marks, for ruin